koikimedia, koikimedia, koikimedia. We bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
Àwọn sálára àgbà yìí dá, àwa ló láṣà àti èdè. Gbígbédè lárugẹ nílẹ̀ Oòduà o, àwa gangan ni bàbá.
Koikimedia, koikimedia, koikimedia. We bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
They never sabi wetin we carry for her.
But they move closer before they go sabi.
I said they never know wetin we carry for body.
But they move closer before they go sabi.
Ọ̀kín lọ lọ́jà ẹyẹ, kìnìún ló ló lajú.
Ẹyẹ tó lórí kodò bí àdán àpẹjẹ lẹ́nu.
Ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ilẹ̀ bàbá wa, ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ìlú bàbá wa, ká jùmọ̀ sowọ́pọ̀ ká lè gbó Odùduwà.
Odùduwà kò bá lè gbé wa.
Ọmọ Odùduwà ṣe gírí, ẹ dìde fún ẹ̀tọ́ adúláwọ̀, ká lè jọ jùmọ̀ gbé délẹ̀ ìlérí, ká wálé gba ògo ilẹ̀ wa, ká ṣiṣẹ́ ká lè jọ gbàdé, ká lè gbàdé adé adúláwọ̀, àwa ni ìmọ̀lẹ̀ tí yóò tàn káàkiri.
Ọmọ Odùduwà ni wá.
Koikimedia, àwa là ń gbé tó lárugẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tiwa máa ní.
Kásá ẹgbẹ́ polówó ọjà wà kájé bùgbà yín jẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tiwa máa ní.
À ń gbé tó lárugẹ, à ń gbàsà lárugẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tiwa máa ní.
News and sports ẹ máa rí gbọ́.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tiwa máa ní.
Ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú alárẹ̀ mi ló ní kí n máa ké tantan. Koikimedia ọ̀rọ̀ lágbájúmọ̀ mi o, máa bá ṣẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ o. Ọmọ Yorùbá nìyẹn, ọmọ Yorùbá tata o. À ń gbádùn rẹ, ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú alárẹ̀ mi, ṣẹ́yìn ló máa fi dìbò tẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ o. Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa ń dé mádémádé, ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa wọ̀ o. Igbó máa wọ̀ gájòjì ò gbọ́dọ̀ wọ̀, àjòjì tó bá wọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ á dẹ̀dẹ̀ ní ẹbọra. Ẹ̀yin lọ máa náwó kóyìnbó tó dé, ìgbà tó yìnbó dé o, owó náà dẹ́ tún pọ̀ sí o. Koikimedia ṣàwa ní bàbá. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Àdáńtọ́ àtúnpèrègèdè.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Àwa là ń gbé tó lárugẹ, jẹ́ ká jọ gbọ́ o.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Àtúnjàfẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ wa, fẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Ọmọ Oòduà ni wá o, tọkàntọkàn.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Ikú tí ó ṣe bí lébi òsì, àdìmú bàbá iyọ̀.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
We bring you up closer to your doorstep.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Afẹ́fẹ́ tó ń fẹ́ o tó ń kan kí oko lára ni.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Àpèrègèdè Olódùmarè ló fún wa ṣe.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Gbogbo ayé ẹ gbọ́, àwa ní bàbá o.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Ẹ máa bọ̀ wá ẹgbẹ́ polówó ọjà yín wá o.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Odùduwà lágbé dání, òtítọ́ lágbé dání.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
A kì í sọ̀dálẹ̀, a kì í sọdí kẹta.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Àdúró tán, a tún pèrègèdè.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Koikimedia we bring you work closer to your doorstep.
Àwọn ní bàbá.
Koikimedia is around.
Ọmọ Ìbàràpá lápapọ̀ ẹ̀jẹ̀ adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àkí ọmọ Yorùbá lápapọ̀ tìlé tó kó ẹ̀mí àbọ̀ ẹ̀bá nǹkan mọ́ Adéyẹmọ. Chief Sunday Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho orúkọ ńlá tí ń jámọ́ láyà bí ara orúkọ tó ń dẹ́rù bo lórúkọ gan-an. Ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ má sùn o torí pé bùrà a kò lè fojú kégbodò láyé títa ríro lẹ̀dá ń kọlà wúrà tó máa dán alànà kọjá dandan o. Ọ̀wọ́n irin ní má bẹ̀rẹ̀ wọ̀nà ẹ̀dá kan ò lè ṣì wá lọ́nà mọ́ ẹjẹ́ àfìmọ̀ṣọ̀ kan ká lè débi re ẹjẹ́ àjọ gbárùkù ti Sunday Ìgbòho ṣá ọmọ Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ nílùú Alágbàdo Òde ọmọ atapẹ̀tẹ̀ wọnú omi ọmọ gègèlè wodò sànyà ìsànyà ò rẹ́ràn bàbá yín láàrin ìdí omi kò sì náà ń kán sí yín lẹ́nu ọmọ òkúta mẹ́ta òkè Ìgbòho ìkan ṣe yín ní dábọ̀dàbọ̀ ìkan ní mọ́ rọra ìkan tó kù nígbà tí wọ́n ò mọ̀ Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ kí ló dé Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ sí ọmọ òpópó sanran ìgbàgede Ìgbòho sùn wọn láláìsí bẹ̀rẹ̀ wọn ní kó ní bẹ̀rẹ̀ ó máa kó bẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ ẹ̀sìn òní bímọ méjì ní Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ bẹ́sìn bá bímọ méjì ní Ìgbòho àfikàn pọ̀pọ̀ sí amúkan yòókù bọ̀ sànyà àtúmúyà rẹ̀ tí ò lọ́rọ̀ gbọ́ àfiṣẹ́rù wálé wàrà mòjé ọmọ onílé ọ̀la àwọn àjòjì tó ń ṣe ségesège tọ́láwọn ò ní bomi kó sí mu wọ́n láwọn ò ní bomi sànyà wẹ́sẹ̀ ìgbà tójú kò fi rí ńkọ́ gbogbo wọn náà sáré bomi kó sí mu wọ́n sì bomi sànyà wẹ́sẹ̀ ọmọ abẹ́rẹ́ mẹ́ta òde ayé ọ̀kan ṣẹ́ ọ̀kan tẹ̀ ọ̀kan tó kù ní gbogbo ayé ti ránṣọ kiri gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá Sunday Ìgbòho onírèlẹ̀ láéláé torí àbá lásán nìkan ń dá òkúta ò ṣe gbé fún wọn o ìmọ̀ràn lásán ni ti balùwẹ̀ kò pọ́sibú kó dòdò láyé ń bí ó kún díẹ̀ kí tọ́ domi láéláyé ìtọ́ mi lè domi Sunday Ìgbòho arógun má ti dí tó ń jà fẹ́tọ̀ Yorùbá ní tilé tó kó. ọmọ Ìbàràpá lápapọ̀ ẹ̀jẹ̀ adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àkí ọmọ Yorùbá lápapọ̀ tilé tó kó ẹ̀mí àbọ̀ ẹ̀bá nǹkan Adéyẹmọ Chief Sunday Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho orúkọ ńlá tí ń jámọ́ láyà bí ara orúkọ tó ń dẹ́rù.
info@welllam@gmail.com. Welllam shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
This is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download on your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for star, R for radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medase.
Body is your ma. Bekutu. Show them you got the Coco set. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Harry Song, aka Mr. Songs. This is the Kingmaker Baba for the girls. We're here. This is Star Radio. We don't go nowhere. UK, London. We don't call them London for home. For here, we don't call them London. And that's how you know. Just have fun and stay blessed.
Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Wow, and welcome once again. It is the Star Radio UK. It is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. And it's another Wednesday edition. Shout out to all our listeners from around the globe. And welcome once again as we're going to be taking you through the 9th day of August 2023. My name is OLAMILEKAN, and I'd like to say good evening. It is exactly 5 minutes past 1800 hours on the network on the Star Radio UK. There's a lot to discuss tonight, and as you can see, as the engineer continues to give us some of the highlight of what we're going to be talking about. But first and foremost, if you're joining us for the very, very first time and you're not aware of this platform, this is called the Niger Voices every Wednesday, where we look at so many events happening in Nigeria. First and foremost, let me appreciate my producer, Mr. Frank David, Mr. Archie Hammond, and the rest of the team that are working behind the scene, from the engineer, from the sound engineer, and I hope you can hear me loud and clear, because there's a lot going on in West Africa. There is a lot going on between Ecowas and Niger. There's a lot going on when it comes to violence against women, and there is a lot going on when it comes to who we are as the indigenous people. My name is OLAMILEKAN. I say good evening to you. Shout out to my family. Shout out to my mom. And a very, very good evening. It is a very bright weather out there. I've been out already and I'm back home already. But tonight, at exactly few more minutes, I will be saying to you all the updates that we need to know when it comes to Niger Republic. When we talk about, girls and women violence, what do you mean? What do you understand by that? What is the statistics? What is the Nigerian government doing under the former leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari? What do you think needs to be done when it comes to the new president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu? Violence against women, whether you are a Yoruba woman, whether you are Igbo, whether you are Hausa, whether you are Kanuri, whether you are Bendelite, whatever your ethnicity, you are likely, and I say you are likely to be killed in Nigeria as a woman. I want you to hear that again. Violence against women and girls. Violence against women and girls. You are likely to be killed. And is it a cultural thing? Is it culture? Má jẹ́ kí wọ́n máa sọ fún ẹ pé o ní ọkọ nílé. Hey, you must stay there until somebody get killed. And that is what I want to discuss tonight. Is it culture? Is it part of who we are? Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, Fulani? What do we know? Do you all remember Lee Shuaibu? This is all the communication tonight, and also update on Niger Republic. What is going on in Niger? Is there going to be an attack? I don't know. But what we are hearing from everyone out there says that it seems that tomorrow will be the decisive day. The decisive day whether even the United States of America, from the news coming out from the router, saying that we might come in there with our military might if you do not return the constitution of the democratic people. Oh my Lord, there's a lot going on tonight, and I want you to sit back and I'll be giving you everything to know. Waris, to say Yoruba nationalists, Biafra nationalists, awaken empowerment. Owolabi Alabi say Igboho Osha Akinlade Oluwafunmilola say good evening my dear brother. Yoruba nation no going back. Kunle Shita say Yoruba nation Akalamago TV say Ekweto. Olanikpekun say good evening Baba. Tiamio Lukman say good evening to you and good evening to each and every one of you. It is hot here already. And I'm going to be giving you everything you need to know. But one thing we need to let you know is that this is the Star Radio UK. SA, good evening to those of you that have joined us on the TikTok. It's going to be very, very hot here. How many women needs to be killed in Nigeria before something is done? How many women needs to be killed before Bola Tinubu, the president, says something? How many girls are killed in Nigeria when it comes to violence against women and girls is a fundamental human right violation affecting around 1 in 3 women and girls around the world. This is my discussion tonight. This is what we're going to be looking at. And I welcome each and every one of you from different platforms. We are live on Instagram. We are live on TikTok. We are live on wherever you want to find us on Star Radio UK. Remember, every Wednesday. Good evening to you, Paris TV. Fundamental human right. When it comes to that, what do you understand? I'll be giving you what the United Nations is saying, but is the federal of Nigeria respecting the United Nations? Because we know that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have been kept in the custody of the DSS against his fundamental human right. We know that Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho has been kept in Benin Republic against his fundamental human right. But that is not where we are going tonight. Where we are going tonight is all about the discussion when it comes to violence against women and girls. Star Radio UK. 10 minutes past. It's going to be very hot in night tonight. And if you're joining me for the first time, my name is OLAMILEKAN, and I'll be taking you through the program. At exactly 8 o'clock, it's all about the indigenous people. We're going to be speaking Yoruba. So, maybe you might want to come back at exactly 8 o'clock, and then it's all going to be Yoruba Nation, Biafra Nation, Arewa Nation, and we're going to be speaking Yoruba language. It's a sponsored program by Ilana Omodua under the leadership of Professor Adebanji Akintoye, the oracle of our time. But tonight, we're going to start first with the violence against women and girls. In the north, there's violence. In the south, another woman has been killed in Yoruba land, or should we say in Nigeria, because we don't have Yoruba country yet, but we are all agitating. So at exactly 8 p.m., sit back and I'll be telling you a very good news. There's a good news coming out that you need to know, but you have to wait till 8 o'clock to get the good news. At exactly 8 p.m., I'm going to announce the good news that I'm here to tell every single one of you. So if you are watching us tonight, please sit back and let us enjoy the program tonight. My name again is OLAMILEKAN. We are discussing violence against women. Oluwatobi Oluwashesi, good evening to you and welcome. Adam OLAMILEKAN, good evening to those of you that have joined us. Aluta Continua Victoria Asata. That is coming from Comrade Plan B. Good evening to those of you in the southeast. Good evening to those of you that are sitting at home from the Biafra government in exile. One thing we need to also understand is Akpabio, the Senate president, come here. What went wrong in the Senate today? We want to know. It seems that they are sharing money. Money is being shared when millions of Nigerians are dying against violence against women, violence against girls. And the question is, it seems that the Senate and our senator, let's listen to this.
Take his oath of office, we shall rearrange the office of the leadership in order to enable all of us to enjoy our holidays. A token has been sent to our various accounts.
A token has been sent to everyone's account apart from Nigerians. Apart from Nigerians that are meant to have part of the token, it seems that Akpabio is not in line with what is going on in Nigeria. Akpabio did not know that he was still live yesterday, when he was announcing to all the senators that money has now been sent. Hey, slow down, Akpabio. Akpabio, slow down. We know that you have shared the money, but we need to tell those that are not aware that the Senate president on the Senate floor yesterday in Abuja announced that a token has been sent to the account for their holiday. While millions of Nigerians cannot even get access to holiday, Akpabio is saying that we are now giving you some token. Is it in dollar or in pounds? How many Nigerians are going on holiday? How many of you can afford to go on holiday? But it seems that Akpabio does not know what is going on in Nigeria, and Akpabio is telling us that he has sent money, according to the clerk. Have you also received the palliative from Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? There is a lot to discuss. We are discussing everything, but we are starting from the Senate President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that announced without knowing that it was still live. Maybe this was not meant for me and you to know. Imagine the God of the Nigerians, the God of the Yorubas, the God of the Igbos, the God of the Hausas made Akpabio to announce to us yesterday that some money was being shared, and he actually took it back. Which one should we now take? Akpabio, come. Akpabio, the Senate president, get closer to me. Which one do you want me to hold? Is it the prayer or the money? Let's listen to it again on Star Radio UK. It's coming up to exactly 40 minutes past. It's going to be very hot here tonight. As I said to you, we could have done this without my producer, Mr. Frank David and Mr. Archie Amon. But tomorrow is a property hour, but tonight is called Niger Voices on the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London, where we look at almost everything that is happening to Nigerians, almost everything happening to the indigenous people, almost everything that we need to know when it comes to Star Radio UK. You want to sit back because This is where you're going to get everything that you need to know. And if you're joining me for the first time, you know, you're from Ghana, you're from Kenya, and you don't know where you are, it is called... I say welcome to Ashati Sheile Yoruba, Alhaji Lateef Olamide, Mr. Shitu Amawumi. Keep coming in because it's going to be very hot here. I'm going to be discussing after this everything we need to know when it comes to àwọn obìnrin tí wọ́n ń padì Nàìjíríà. Obìnrin àtọmọ kékeré àtàgbàlagbà, àtútù ní obìnrin kan tó ti pa ní ìlú Èkó, kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀? We're going to find out all that, but for now, this is called
Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7. Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7.
Sound Radio UK. This is Sound Radio UK.
It is called Star Radio UK. And let's go back again quickly to Akpabio because we have a lot to discuss and I don't want to waste too much of our time. Good evening to my beautiful mom and welcome to all our pastors in the house. Akpabio, hold on, Akpabio, hold on, Akpabio. We are not in a rush. We want to get to know which one should we hold. Akpabio, is it the money that is sent or the prayer? Nigerians, listen to this.
So, takes his oath of office, we shall rearrange the office of the leadership. In order to enable all of us to enjoy our holidays, a token has been sent to our various accounts by the clerk of the National Assembly.
I don't think that is what he wanted to say. Okay, let's hear the next.
I withdraw that statement.
Oh, he's withdrawing that statement.
In order to allow you to enjoy your holiday, prayers to your mailboxes. I send prayers to your mailboxes to assist you to go on a safe journey and return.
Akpabio said, I have sent you a prayer in your mailbox, and it seems that Paris TV say Akpabio Le. It looks like Kingsley is laughing. This is not a laughing matter. Millions, and I'm talking about 130 million of Nigerians are in abject poverty. Do you also know that many Nigerians have been affected when it comes to the situation room against violence on women and girls in Nigeria? And that is going to be my discussion tonight. I say good evening to everyone that have joined us on the Twitter space. Welcome to the Star Radio UK. As there's a lot to discuss, there's a lot to catch up. Where should we start from? I think we should start from somewhere. This was what Action Aid means when we talk about violence against women. I'll be telling you about this picture. It is one out of so many people that have died in the hands of their husband. There was another one that happened in Akure. I don't know what went wrong, but it seems that after killing her, he started pouring hot water. All that we're going to listen to, but let us first get the meaning of violence against women, which is where we want to start from.
Violence against women and girls now. Because worldwide, a woman is killed by her partner or family member every 12 minutes. 1 in 3 women will be beaten or sexually abused in their lifetime. And up to half of sexual assaults reported are committed against girls under 16. More than 200 million women and girls have experienced female genital mutilation. That's about the same as the populations of the UK, France, Switzerland, Spain, and Portugal combined. Each year, 15 million girls are married as children, often to much older men. That's about 30 times more than the number of people who get married in England and Wales. This is unacceptable, and it needs to stop.
What?
Action Aid.
This is unacceptable, and it needs to stop. How do we stop it? How do we stop violence against women? What do we need to do? What do we need to put in place? What are the measures that needs to be put in place when it comes to the government? Last year, we know that the federal government under the former President Muhammadu Buhari made some few changes, made some few committees, made some conferences, but what happened? How important are all these? Let us listen to this to start with.
Violence against women and girls is one of the most widespread, persistent, and devastating human rights violations in our world today. And for this reason, the United Nations, the European Union as well, have embarked on a global multi-year initiative, and it's focused on eliminating all forms of violence against women and girls. The code name, the Spotlight Initiative.
The EU-UN Spotlight Initiative in Nigeria has been able to bring its advocacy to the highest level of government by engaging the President of Nigeria, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, in a national town hall dialogue on sexual and gender-based violence.
I commend their plans to ensure the creation of a national action plan to combat violence against women and girls. Gender violence has consequences not only for the victims and their families, but on the community and the country at large. Preventing violence against women can save lives and prevent human suffering. While we push for a concerted effort that establishes framework dealing with these issues, we also must integrate educating men and boys on how to embrace gender awareness and recognize the role of women in economic and community development.
All of us must stand together and speak out. Try by joining the EU and the UN initiative on Spotlight to fight violence against women everywhere, in our societies, our communities, and at home.
Who do we blame? Do we blame the parents? Do we blame the culture? Do we blame the friends, the community? Who do we blame when there's violence against women? Who do we blame when there's violence against girls? What is the United Nations saying? What is your community doing? What is your own community in almost every part of Nigeria doing to protect and save lives of women? Is it the norm? Oh, do not be a single woman and you stay in that relationship until you are killed. The picture behind you is just one out of so many women that have been killed in the southeast, in the north, in the middle belt, and across the world. What do we know when it comes to violence against women and girls? This is part of the first conversation for the next half an hour. And then at exactly 1900 hours, we're going to go straight to what is happening with the update from Ecowas and Niger. But for now, Star Radio UK, the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London, I want to discuss violence against women and girls. Is it a cultural thing that we say? Don't allow your friends to see you as an unmarried woman. Stay in that relationship until something eventually happens. I'll be giving you more details of the picture of our beautiful sister, a mother. All she was asking for was the upkeep of the children from her own husband that eventually killed her in Ogun State. I'll be telling you everything we need to know. What do you understand when it comes to violence against women? Are you one of those that commit such crime and then you hide under the curtain? Are you one of those that encourage men to beat the women? Are you one of those women that encourage to make sure that you deal with your husband because you live in a Western world where the women are given much more accessible opportunity than the men when it comes to, you all know what I'm talking about. We've seen a lot of women that have told their husband to pack away from the house and in front of the children. And we've seen men end up killing such women. We do not condone crime, but the question is, what do we do in the society? What do we do as community? What do we do to encourage this situation that has been a stigma, especially in some community within Nigeria? And eventually she ended up dying. Is it the government that we need to blame? Because this woman would not have been able to visit the man if she was living in America, because the American government would have removed the money and paid directly into her account. How many men are paying child tax credits or upkeep? Because all she has gone for was the upkeep of the 3 children that she gave birth to a man, and the man ended up killing her. this would not have happened in UK does not mean that we have not seen so many crimes of such. But the question is, what is the community doing? What is the government doing to protect women and girls? That is the conversation tonight. And once again, this is Star Radio UK. My name is OLAMILEKAN. Alaja Agbabiaka, good evening to you. Kingsley say, Nigeria is a lawless country. Violence against women is high in Nigeria due to the lawless in the corrupt system. Do you agree with that? Good evening to you, Mrs. Sakinat. Shokumbi Akpayami says, solution is Yoruba nation. We know that, but we are talking about women and girls. Many of you know them. They have been abused, but so many of you just look away. Are you one of those that abuses women? Do you take advantage? Are you a prey? Are you also a pedophile? What is your take on that? Shout out to everyone that is joining us. We know that there's violence against women by the military. I'm talking about the Nigerian military. We saw the report from Amnesty International. I did a full program on that. I will remind you what I said. What do we do? What do we know? What is the meaning of violence? Is it a right to sleep with somebody that doesn't want you to sleep with her? Or do you give birth to children and you refuse to pay upkeep? Is this not one of the reasons why those that are agitating are saying we can't live in a society where women and girls are not respected? Give us Biafra, give us Yoruba nation, give us Arewa nation, so that we can deal with the perpetrators and we can make sure that women are protected in a system that works. Nigeria for the last 24 years have failed the women and girls in almost every part of Nigeria today. 1 out of so many are killed. Violence against women and girls is a fundamental human right. It is also a violation affecting around 1 in 3 women and girls. We saw the DSS harassing a Biafra girl because she's putting on an outfit that says, I am a Biafra. That is violence against girls. We've seen the government in Lagos State killing Bamishe in the Lagos transport. She was also raped. Even part of the body was removed. She was thrown out like a chicken onto the floor on the high road of Third Mainland Bridge, and the body was left open. The dignity that she brought into the world was left open, but the private part was already removed. Is that not a violence? And today the Lagos State government refused to do justice against Bamishe family. Do we talk about the Nigerian security that continue to put in genocide in the southeast and everybody keeps quiet, especially against our mothers? Violence against women and girls is the discussion this evening for the next 32 minutes. My name is OLAMILEKAN. This is Star Radio UK Network, and as I say every Wednesday, this is how we roll it out.
At home. On your smartphone. In your car. At work. At home. On your smartphone. In your car. At work. At home. On your smartphone.
This is Star Radio UK. This is Star Radio UK.
DG75 says a country that has no law is not a country like Nigeria. Ogunyeju, good evening to you. Have you or do you know someone that has been affected when it comes to violence against women? Grandma Leah Jai said, well done, White Lion. More strength to your elbow. Yoruba nation is unstoppable. And this is why some of us are saying that Nigeria is a zoo. It's a zoo that does not respect animals. Even in the animal world, women and girls must be respected, but we have the Nigerian military that continue to rape as many women and take advantage of them, and sometimes they even decide to abort pregnancy. Women and girls experience violence and discrimination in every society, including Nigeria. What do we know? Female genital mutilation, FGM. What do we know when it comes to the United Nations? Every November 25th is known as the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. Is Nigeria doing that, or are we adding more to the problem? Good evening to you, Tony Aegis. Good evening to those of you that have joined us. Olawale Alabi said, justice for Bamishe parents. How many more women needs to be killed in the southeast, in the north central, in the Nigeria of today? It seems that everybody seems to be making money out of this kind of situation, yet the situation is not yet eradicated. My name is OLAMILEKAN, and I welcome one of you as you're joining us on this platform. Shout out to my beautiful family, and I hope everyone is enjoying the beautiful weather. Godina, House of Beauty, last man standing. I told you yes. For us to have a Yoruba nation, we must first talk about women and girls. These are the people that need to be protected, but it seems that the zoo, as we call it, because some of us don't believe in Nigeria anymore, does not mean that those of you that believe it is your fundamental human right. But the question is, can Nigeria protect our women and girls for the next 63 years? Or should we start saying it is time now that self-determination must be respected, just as women and girls are respected in abroad, in Europe, in America, in Asia? Wherever the women are in those countries, you will not need to go and visit your husband for upkeep. The money will be deducted directly from the account of this particular person. But it seems that this is not what happened to this particular family. Businessman hit a wife head against the wall and she has now died. How many more women need to die before those of you that we are saying that the right to self-determination must now be discussed as quickly as possible? Afeni Ferry must now come out and talk to us because we don't want many more of our women to be killed by men that should be in the prison and should not be living in the society. Let me tell you about this particular story. This has been in the storyline. This came out actually today in the media in Nigeria. And this is how it goes. Relatives of a 30-year-old woman, or woman rather, I take that again, relatives of a 30-year-old woman. So the woman behind me have not even completed 52 years. You can see the reason why the World Health Organization say you are likely not to survive a 53-year-old in Nigeria. You will die before you're 52 years old. We saw the story of the young girl that died at the Lagos General Hospital. I'll be telling you more about that in just about a few minutes. The question is, how many more women need to die? How many more girls need to die before some of you understand that Nigeria is a failed country and it refused to work? And if you think it's going to work, when is it going to work to protect women and girls? 30-year-old Rafiat Okewale are currently grieving over the sudden death of the woman allegedly in the hand of her husband known as Mr. Wale. If you are Mr. Wale tonight, I hope you are already in the custody of the police, and I hope the police are taking the laws as it's meant to do without any bribery again, because we know that the system in Nigeria would not even give justice as we'll have wanted. We saw the story of Adegoke, how they've been able to influence that case. Every case in Nigeria is influenced is who you know. The question is, can we continue to live in this kind of society when some of us are saying that Nigeria is a complete failed country and it is time now that we start talking, because more women and girls will die and all they'll be doing is making money out of the SDG, making money out of the meeting. We knew that Buhari, the former president, spoke about it last year. Let's complete part of what was discussed. It was 2 years ago what you're listening to, but 2 years on, Rafiat family are crying because the husband killed her only for asking for the upkeep of the 3 children she gave birth to the same man that slept with her 3 times with beautiful children. Now these children do not have any mother anymore.
We need to end this taboo, because I would say that everybody of us knows someone who is suffering of violence. So I think we need to talk about it. We need to talk about it very bravely.
We need to talk about it. That's why we're talking about it tonight, because it seems that as many of you are asking for Yoruba nation, Biafra nation, but you are not looking at some of the reasons. Some of you talk about the Fulani alone, when some of us are the criminals that are committing the crime against women and girls. Many of you travel back to Nigeria and you abuse those girls. You do abuse because you know that you cannot commit the same crime in Europe. Some of you are pedophile. And this is some of the reason why some of you living in Europe refuse to support the agenda of the self-determination, even though we know you have your right to remain in Nigeria. But we know that some of you have children that are 16 years old that you will not sleep with, but you are ready to sleep with the same 16 years old when you travel to Nigeria. And we know that because there's a lot of you that travel back home, you have children here, and you end up sleeping with 16 years old. Let's go back again. 2 years ago, Spotlight Initiative held a town hall on violence against women and girls 2 years down the line, another women have died in Ogun State.
I think we need to talk about it. We need to talk about it very bravely with our friends, with our colleagues, but also publicly.
With this commitment, the EU and UN have been able to scale up.
The EU and UN is not going to solve the problem. Nigeria is too big for the UN to decide how we deal with this violence against girls and women, and sometimes against men as well. This is the reason why some of us are saying that divide these countries so that we can take care and we can make sure we safeguard as many children and women. But it seems some of you do not want such. You want to live in a society where you can abuse, where you can take advantage, especially in this economy situation. I'll be telling you about another story that happened again. This one took place in Akure, where the man in charge took advantage of the economy situation. But let's finish with the story of our sister, a mother. She has now passed on just at the age of 30 years old. She would have died in a different way. But maybe if safeguarding have been put in place, if all the 774 local government have been working, such a scenario would not have happened. But we know that we have 774 local government and none of them are functioning to safeguard anyone. So you are on your own. When some of you say it is about Fulani killing us, I say it is not just Fulani. We have too many Yoruba that are criminals. We have too many Igbos that are criminals. We have too many Hausa people that are criminals. We have criminals among 351 ethnic people joined together by the British in 1914, and it is time now that we unbundle it so we know the real criminal, the real perpetrator against women and girls in our community. This did not happen in the southeast. Did this actually happen in Ogun State, in Yoruba land? And please don't think the man that killed her is an Igbo or Hausa, is also a Yoruba man. You can see why some of us are saying that what we need to start discussing right now is to bring Nigeria to a closure, and they can start dealing with some of the criminal intent among us that do not want a proper society. Let's go further. According to the story, or according to the media that brought the story out, Okewole, though married to a businessman, was living separately. They are not living together. So it shows that there's already a danger among them. If there was a council in place in that local government, she would have been protected because she needed to be protected. But today, she's no longer with us because the society failed her. Me, myself, you, Afenifere, and the governors, the kings, everyone has failed this Yoruba woman tonight because of the negligence of us not speaking out. This goes on in our community, and some of us knows and we keep quiet. This goes on in every part of the country called Nigeria, but everybody keeps quiet because we do not want everyone to know that she's no longer a married mother or a married woman. So she end up living separately. That shows that there's a problem already. But how come she end up dying in the hand of the same monster known as her husband? Because that is not an husband. That is not an husband. Because an husband will do the needful even if there is a situation where you don't want to have anything to do with the woman anymore. You will do the right thing, but the government is meant to be the intermediary among them so that the heat would not have happened where she would have died over the weekend. And this is why we are saying again and again, how many more mothers, how many more girls needs to die in Nigeria due to the negligence of both myself and you for not speaking out? How many more do you want to hear? Do we all sit back and say nothing? Let's give you some of the background again before we go back into Rafiat. According to the European, it is reported that incidents of gender-based violence have increased significantly with the insurgency of the same reason why some of us are saying that terrorism is also bringing out the bad aspect. We've seen, we've heard as many of the Fulani terrorists that continue to rape our mothers in the forest, in the farm, and on the motorway when they are kidnapped, and some of them are killed. And this happened across Nigeria. But we know that the insurgency of the Boko Haram in the northeast in the period of 2009 up to 2016, Boko Haram adopted approximately 2,000 women and girls alone, and they were also subjecting them to sexual abuses. Is this the country you want to remain? And the picture behind you are the jihadis. These are the ICs that are moving towards Nigeria. And as we say to you all the time, how many more women need to be killed in the hands of terrorism when we know that we have a government that have failed every single one of us? When we know that some of the governors are the one behind this terrorism that is happening in Nigeria. Once again, this is
Star Radio UK. This is Star Radio UK.
It is called the Star Radio UK every Wednesday, Niger Voices, and this is how we roll out. And let me remind you that part of why some of us are saying how many more needs to die. How many more needs to die when we know that some of your governors are behind the terrorism in Nigeria? Let's listen again to the late Dr. Malafia Obadia.
And the truth. And let me make some revelations, because some of us also have our own intelligence networks.
Okay.
Have met with some of the bandits. We have met with some of their high commanders. One or two who have repented. They have sat down with us, not once, not twice. They told us that one of the northern governors is the commander of Boko Haram in Nigeria. Boko Haram and the bandits are one and the same thing.
Well, let's hold on there. They are not just committing indigenous crime. Remember that Dr. Chinelo was killed on the train going to Abuja. Remember, many of our girls and women have been killed, even without Boko Haram, because Bamisha was killed in Lagos State in the Lagos transportation system, known as the BRT. She was killed. A private part was removed. Till date, there's no justice for her. Remember that only on Monday, we heard about Dr. Overa that also died in the lift. And the lift have been complained since 2018. Violence against women and girls continue in Nigeria. Let's take that again. Boko Haram has adopted approximately between 2009 and 2016, 2,000 women and girls, subjecting them to sexual abuses, including raping them. They've turned them to punching bag. Also, they forced them to marriage. How many of you remember Lee Shuaibu? She has even given birth to 2 sons from what we heard. Let's take it further. Being sold in the market as war booty, forced participation in the insurgent operation, including as suicide bombers, as well as to forced labor. According to recent report, Boko Haram has continued to adopt civilians, and in particular, women and children, according to security situation in 2021. Some women have been forced to marry Boko Haram fighters who have been adopted, raped, enslaved, have been rejected by their families because of stigmatization, and have also faced difficulties reintegrating into the society where sex outside the marriage is not acceptable. Women with children from Boko Haram members are reported to face even more. Imagine, terrorists take you on board and then impregnate you and then return you back to your family, and your family say, no, we don't even want to have anything to do with you. That is the failure of a country called Nigeria in the last 24 years of democracy. That is why the late Dr. Malafia told us again who is behind terrorism, and Boko Haram and bandits are all one.
Sophisticated network. During this lockdown, their planes were moving up and down as though there was no lockdown. Moving ammunitions, moving logistics, moving money, and distributing them in different parts of the country. They're already in the south, in the rainforest of the south. They're everywhere. They told us that when they finish these rural killings, they will move to phase 2. The phase 2 is they will go into the urban cities, going from house to house, killing prominent people. I can tell you, this is the game plan. By 2022, they want to start a civil war in Nigeria. Don't joke with what I'm saying. I have a PhD from Oxford University. I'm a central banker. We don't talk nonsense.
Well, he wasn't talking nonsense because we now know that evidence is out there. And let's take more of those evidence. According to the risk analysis, women and girls could be exposed to the act by the Boko Haram, which are of such severe nature that would amount to persecution, killing, sexual violence, forced marriage, where the risk is discrimination or mistreatment by the society or by the same family that they left in the first place. Most times they are rejected by their family after they are abused by the same system that should have protected them. The individual assessment of whether this could amount to persecution should take into account the severity or the repetitiveness of the act, or whether they occur as accumulation of various measures. Not all women and girls will face the level of risk required to establish a well-founded fear of persecution in relation to violence by Boko Haram. The individual assessment of whether there is a reasonable degree of likelihood for the applicant to face persecution should also be taken into account. The question then is, what needs to be done? Should we remain in Nigeria where the government does not even have what it takes to protect our women and girls? Let's go back again because we have about 30 minutes before they go into the update from Niger Republic and Nigeria. Let's conclude with our beautiful mother. But as we say, she died in the same man that the family gave her to. The same man that slept with her and produced 3 beautiful children. But tonight, as I speak to you, our mother, a sister, known as Rafiat Okewole, she's no longer with us. She has been killed by the same husband. One out of so many violence against women that is going on in Nigeria. What can be done? What do the president needs to do? Let's take you back to February, just before the changeover of the government. Women's rights exist only on paper in Nigeria. Let me take that again. Women's rights only exist on the paper. There were 5 core issues a new president needs to address urgently. And let's hope Bola Ahmed Tinubu will do so. Violence against African women and the widespread violation of their basic human rights is shaped by the society, and also the cultural barriers. In Nigeria, women's rights appear to be protected. The country is a signatory to many international conventions and norms, which is as useless as tissue paper. Convention of Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, you might as well take that into the dustbin. Solemn Declaration on Gender Equality in Africa, you might as well just flush that in the toilet, because all these does not represent Nigeria. Nigeria is not a country that respects human rights, not to talk about the right of women and girls. Yet, this protection is mostly on paper, and so many conferences, so many events are held, but do you know what? Money is just exchanged, and sometimes the money ends up even to be stolen from each other. In a recent book chapter about African women in politics, African women is too commonly labeled by her marital position as a wife of an African man. She is seen as an appendage of that man, a mere shadow. But this has not always been the case. History tells us that there have been many great African women who rose to leadership and pioneer innovation in Nigeria. Activists like Funmilayo Ransome Kuti, Margaret Ekpo come to mind. History to Professor Bolanle Awe is another. Yet, the subjugation that is being marginalized against the indigenous people is even much more when it comes to the subjugation of women's rights, interest, benefit, endowment when a woman's husband died in Yoruba land. and there's not a proper arrangement by the man to the wife, trust me, the woman is on her own. Family are going to do worst. This is not just in Yoruba land. I'm sure this happens in all other ethnic. But we can protect them if we have a constitution. If we have not the fraudulent constitution that some of you think is going to protect your women and girls. The 1999 constitution is a fraud. And if you're waiting to be protected under this constitution, you might as well just jettison that constitution. That constitution does not support us in today's society. Let's listen again to Professor Aki Oyebode.
To immoral conduct. Then we justify that particular conduct. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And quite sincerely, the judges too, they have part of the blame, but they don't have all the blame. The problem, I think, like the patriots pointed out a long time ago, is that Constitution, Decree 24 of 1999, is a diktat. It's a military diktat. It tells a lie against itself, what you are brandishing as the Constitution of Nigeria. It's an illegitimate instrument.
So if the Constitution is an illegitimate instrument, how do you think it's going to protect women against violence and girls? How do you expect? What do you think is going to happen? How do you expect women and girls to be protected when even the Constitution is a fraud? And this is why some of us are saying, are you sure about Nigeria? Are you still positively sure that something will turn around and this current President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be able to protect women and girls? Good evening to you, Mrs. Elizabeth, and welcome to the program. Ade Williams said 27 gun salute to the true revolutionary in security is home-based fund Oyinbo, no get hand inside our wahala. Kehinde Oseni Salami, good evening to you. Comrade Plan B, good evening to you. Akin Games, Akpabio, and Nigerian leaders are all monster. Akin Games, good evening to you. Sam Johnson, you just have to be more patient and wait until the program gets to where the discussion will come into that side. Wahid Anila, good evening to you. Akintola, good evening to you. Tokyo 778, Nuruddin, good evening to you. Gabson, good evening to you. Adebayo, good evening to you. And all our listeners on the Mixlr, good evening to you and welcome once again as we continue the discussion. DG75, and that is how they will be taking them one by one. Nigeria has actually failed a lot of us. And let's go back again to the fraudulent 1999 constitution. And this was during 4 years ago when Nigeria was celebrating one of its fraudulent independence, because we know that we never got independent. Whatever you got today is one of the reasons why we've lost another beautiful human being. Let's go back again to the 1999 constitution. Good evening to you, to every single one of you. Ade Williams says, Queen Amina comes to mind too. Thank you so much.
We all agreed that would be
even though it begins with we the people.
No, that's the line that I'm talking about, and I'm not original here. The patriots have said it, okay, and Ben Wabose continues to say it. I attend meetings on the black table where Ben Wabose presides, and he will tell you that constitution is a fraud, that we have to jettison it and do an autochthonous constitution for ourselves. So please let us recognize the limitations of the 1999 so-called constitution. We need a constitution which reflects the spirit of the age. We
reflect the spirit of the age that could have protected this beautiful mother. But tonight, she died again, just as many Nigerians continue to die for the negligence of what we have been telling them. You don't have a country. A country that does not value you is not a country. A country that does not respect your human rights is not a country. A country that cannot respect you as women and girls is not a country. And some of us are shouting every day. Domestic violence, who do we blame is the question tonight. I've not seen some of you telling me, who do we blame? That is the topic tonight. Domestic violence. Who do we blame? We have about 6 more minutes before we go straight into the update from Niger. I'll be looking at what some people have been talking about. And most importantly, what should we be expecting from Ecowas tomorrow? And at 8 o'clock, I'll be giving you some of the news that we need to know when it comes to the update from Yoruba Nation movement. Who do we blame? DG75 say a country that does not value humanity. Who do we blame when it comes to violence against our mothers and our girls in the society? Let's come back again. Waris Jinadu, good evening to you. Good evening to you, Ijaya. Good evening to every single one of you, depending on what platform you're watching us from. And I say welcome to the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. My name is OLAMILEKAN. Let's go back again to our mother that was killed by a businessman husband. It all happened at Ijoko area of Ota, Ogun State, Nigeria. She was said to have lost her life during a disagreement. Blame the Yoruba people that are supporting their oppressor. They are the fools. That is coming from someone on Twitter. Thank you so much for your comment. Keep the comment coming as well. Let's go into it again. She was to have lost her life during a disagreement that ensued when she visited her husband in the gas line area of Ijoko on Sunday to collect money for the children's upkeep. If this was a society that is working, she would not have been able to go there. Money would have been deducted straight from the businessman account to pay for the upkeeps of the family. And if there's a threat to her life, she would have been kept away. Let me read some of the comment as well. Mr. Raphael Williams say, a country where hatred and corruption has been the order of the day. DG say, is this the government to blame? No proper system to protect lives and property. Do you agree with them? Keep your comment coming. Pastor Mo say, good evening to you. Moses Olaniro, well done everyone. I am just 8 days in Nigeria. I can tell you that within 16 months that I have been last, nothing new has taken place. That is somebody giving us the update in Nigeria. He has been in Nigeria now 8 days and he says nothing has changed. Adeshola Adebayo, good evening to you and welcome to those of you that are joining us. Comrade Plan B say, lawless Nigeria is to the bastard to be blamed. Wow, a lot of people are angry. Do you think that the government is to be blamed or the society? Who do we blame for the negligence that led to the death of this very, very, very important, beautiful sister of ours? Who do we blame? This is Star Radio UK, as we are just 3 minutes before we go into more of the other conversation, as there's a lot to discuss, but for now it is called
Star Radio UK. This is Star Radio UK. This is Star Radio UK.
41 migrants are missing after a new Mediterranean ship continued to wreck. What is going on? How many Africans want to travel out? As we know that many Africans want to get to Europe, and most time now, Niger is in a situation room. So you will not be able to travel through Niger. Good evening to you, my beautiful auntie Iyabo Olubumi Oluwole, and welcome to the Star Radio UK network. Location 9, social service and insecurity is coming from Waris Jinadu. Keep the comment coming. The question tonight is, who do we blame? And let me quickly wrap it up before we go into the update from Niger, because there's a lot going on. Tomorrow, Ecowas will be meeting. So we now know that this beautiful mother died while she was trying to get money from the husband for the upkeep of her children. The disease was said to have been having a running battle with her husband over his alleged failure to cater for her children. The issue, however, reached its climax when Mr. Wole allegedly smashed Okewole's head against the wall during a Sunday visit. Is this the kind of society that we want? Is this the kind of life that we want to continue to be coming here every day and telling you violence against women? Who do we blame? Talama blame fún ito ṣẹlẹ̀ yìí. I'll be telling you what we need to know and what the government can do to make things better. But I'll come back to that in just about a few minutes. We can only pray for the soul of so many people, women, girls. According to what we know, neighbors try to save her life. But again, there's no 999, there's no emergency. After the incident failed, as she was confirmed dead in the hospital where she was rushed for medical attention. It was further learned that her 41-year-old husband was arrested after the case was reported at the police station. One of the deceased brother, Akinola Shitu, said he was devastated by the news of his sister's death. I hope Akinola Shitu knows about Yoruba nation, knows why we are asking for a better nation, not the Nigeria that doesn't respect you and will not be able to treat the situation as we know. And I pray for this family. Moses Oladiro said, in fact, our dearest Yoruba nation is the only solution to better our people's life in this location. 9, very lawless country, it is time for a change. This is somebody on the ground telling us 8 days in Nigeria, and it seems it's already like hellfire. What do we do? All this happened in Ogun State. Do you know that Ogun State has a lot of local government? Ogun State has how many local government? 20 local government. I am sure one of these local government will have been responsible for the safety, safeguarding, protection of this very beautiful mother. But since we have 20 local government, naming Abeokuta North, Abeokuta South, Ota, which is where this incident happened, Ewekoro, Ifo, Ijebu East, Ijebu North, Ijebu Northeast, Ijebu Ode, Ikene, Imeko Ofon, Ipokia, Obafemewode, Odogbolu, Odeda, Ogun Waterside, Remo North, Shagamu, Yewa North and Yewa Side. None of these are just as useless as tissue paper. None of them are working. And when you ask someone tonight, why don't you want to support Yoruba nation? They say, well, because Bola Tinubu is going to fix Nigeria. They've not even been able to fix your local government. You are talking about Bola Tinubu fixing Nigeria. And the question again tonight is, who do we blame? Let's go back again. Education for the girls. Education enhance decision-making power of women, and impart the knowledge and skills required to contribute to the society. And the right to education is enshrined in the fraudulent constitution under Section 18 of Nigerian 1999 Constitution. The provision enjoins the government to direct its policy towards ensuring there are equal and adequate educational opportunities at all levels. Education should be free and compulsory for all children of school age. But in Nigeria, there is a large disparity between the education of boys and that of girls. In 2010, the female adult literacy rate age 15 and above for Nigeria was 59.4%, while the literacy rate for male was 74.4%. Of more than 10 million children who are out of school or do not have access to adequate education past a certain age, 60% of them are girls. Let me take that again. 10 million children are out of school. And this is not even the latest update, because we know that more children have added to that even after Buhari left. So out of the 10 million, as of 2010, children that are out of school, 60% of them are girls. Some families, especially in the north, are forced into, I'll take that again. Some families, especially in the northeast and the northwest, don't want to expose their girl children to adoption and abuse. Some girls are given in marriage at a very young age. Is that the kind of society you want to live? Is that not why we are saying that we can't? I mean, can you marry a 12-year-old girl in UK? Can you take a 12-year-old girl and take her to, to the registry and say, I want to marry her and keep her with me? About 43% of girls in Nigeria are married before their 18th birthday. 16% are married before the age of 15. Nigeria has experienced growing adoption and kidnapping of school children, with many girls forced into marriage or impregnated by their kidnappers. DG75 say, break it now and save lives. But some say, don't break it now, let's keep it more, so that somebody like this will also do like this. And let's take it back again to what we know when KABIRU was speaking when it comes to, we're going to bring that back again in just about a few minutes. But once again, as we say, many of you probably not even aware that KABIRU was telling us that the money needs to be, allocated to them. And this is how he actually said it yesterday. And that video is already trending across board. And again, I saw it tonight, or yesterday, rather this afternoon. England and UK government does not speak Wales. The voice of the Wales is the people of the Wales. Let's take back control. Let's open a direct dialogue with the rest of the world. It is time to shout louder. Make your voice heard. The Welsh people are saying they do not want to be part of the United Kingdom anymore. It is becoming interesting. And again, this is still Star Radio UK. I'll be telling you everything about the headlines as well. But for now, this is how we heard KABIRU, or the Senate President, during the discussion yesterday. And this is how he said everything that we need to know. KABIRU, let's hear from you. And let's the sound engineer get us out of volume.
Senator Umahi takes his oath of office, we shall rearrange the office of the leadership. In order to enable all of us to enjoy our holidays, a token has been sent to our various accounts by the clerk of the National Assembly. I withdraw that statement. In order to allow you to enjoy your holiday, the Senate President has sent prayers to your mailboxes. To assist you to go on a safe journey and return.
Well, to assist you for those that have received the money, and for those of us that haven't received the money, is a good luck to you. Ade Williams said, during the Civil War, Yoruba nation have chance to japa, but we miss the chance. Then comes another chance by the killing of MK Abiola, but OBJ sold us out. Now another chance, our local, our roadblock. And before we move further into the next discussion this evening, gender-based violence, women in politics, also maternal health, economic empowerment, equality and trust. Nigerian leaders should not relegate women to the background and treat them like second-class citizens. Giving everyone equal opportunities enhance trust in the government and brings out the good governance in the long run. Do you think all this is going to happen in Nigeria? I don't know. I want to read that in the comment section at exactly 8 minutes past the hour. At 1900 hours, I say good evening to my beautiful mom. Good evening to every single one of you. And this time around, as we are getting ready to go into the discussion that is boiling out there when it comes to the issue whether ECOWAS would do the needful or negotiation will continue. What is your take on that? But we're going to start with the spokesperson of the government and what they are saying. America says we will end up going even if and maybe we should listen to this. This was the elevator crash. Owerri didn't receive proper emergency response before we move away from the gender violence against women and girls.
Happened, and immediately it happened, which I would then talk about a gap again in maintenance. So ideally in a structure that is 10 floors, there should be a direct contact. If something happened, we should be able to hold a part.
Bear with us. Let's take that back again.
Who were these complaints meant to? So we have a facility manager who we have direct interfaces with within the building, and his name is Mr. Charles. He reports to someone else in the Health Service Commission. These letters, first of all, we directed these letters to the medical girl who is directly in charge of our welfare, who are quote unquote senior doctors who should be able to relate to our plight more easily. So several letters, official letters, were written by our HO reps who are the House Officer representatives to the medical girl. Letters were written directly to the CMD, the MD of General Hospital. The letters were written to HSC, so the Permanent Secretary. I mean, there's an entire long through this. So all of the bodies who are directly in charge of. Okay, so thank you very much for having me.
Well, as we say, how many more needs to die before the needful is done? Do we all sit back behind
I
the
and Larry
fence?
went to medical school together, actually. Babcock University, we're classmates, and I got to work some months before her. So we're friends, we're classmates, and we got to work in the same facility. As at the time I started working at General Hospital, the lift was non-functional. It wasn't working at all. And this is a building with 10 floors. So House of
Bear with us. Let's take that
were
back.
made to walk. So you come back from work, let's say you walk throughout the day and probably were on call most part of the night. You would have to walk several floors to get to your room, walk several floors to come downstairs to get amenities and all of that. And there was also a light and water issue. So we were made to carry buckets of water through those floors all the way down. And this was what necessitated our repeated complaints that the lift had to be functional. So as at the time I started working there, about 2 months afterward, we saw that some repairs started to go on, and there are 2 elevators. However, only one of them was some repairs being done on. We came and then they set it up, and then it started to work. Well, as at the time it started to work, few days after this, it started to, so you would get in and then it would take you to a floor and it would just stop there. So we immediately raised alarm about this and told them that this, whatever has been done here, wasn't done properly or the right mechanisms put in place. So this lift is not working. And this has been a complaint that has been done over time, over to every authority whatsoever. Several letters were written, several complaints were laid officially and unofficially.
Well, we're going to leave that, because we have a lot to discuss on the other conversation. We pray for the family, again, of these, our beautiful sister that died on Monday in the lift in Lagos State. You had, the colleagues say they have to keep, taking bucket of water from the ground floor to the 10th floor. And you ask yourself, how much more are Nigerians going to take before they respond? The question is, it seems that maybe the Nigerian Labour Congress, as we know, are saying that let's give Bola Tinubu, the government, a bit more time to look into some of our reasons why they are crying out already. But there's an interview that I want us to listen to, which I'm going to bring up in just about a few minutes. Like I said, this is still Star Radio UK. What do you think is going to happen as the American government says that we might attack or invade Niger should things not come back to normal? Do you think that is going to happen? What is going on? Why is the West so much interested in Niger? Good evening to you, good morning to you, and good afternoon to those of you in different parts of the globe. Why do you think they are so much interested in the situation when it comes to Niger? Why do you think they are very, very much interested? Let's start with these before we go into the conversation. This again is so many Nigerians, and this is Madi Shehu, a social political analyst, and this is his own take when it comes to the Niger Ecowas situation. Let's listen to him. And let's get the sound out from the engineer as we continue to look into the next 24 hours.
If only Ecowas had become prisoners of history, they would have acted differently. A prisoner of history is that person who learns lessons from history. If only they recall what happened in Iraq, what happened in Bosnia-Herzegovina, what happened in Somalia, what happened in Libya, in Afghanistan, and the devastating effect of interference into the internal affairs of the country, they would have acted differently. Rather than being prisoners of history, they opted to become prisoners of geography, where they feel they can look at a map, dissect that map, and cherry pick. ECOWAS cherry picked and made Niger Republic a victim. Rather than looking at the other countries, there are 4 or 5 other countries that are under military rule now. When they took over their countries, ECOWAS was not in slumber. They were not sleeping. They were well alive and active. They looked away because there was no clear vested interest around to protect. But with Niger, America is visibly interested. With Niger, UK is an interested party. With Niger, they can split fire for them to protect America and the UK. And they are making the biggest mistake of their lives. Let Thursday come. Let Ecowas move their own troops to decimate, to obliterate, and to destroy Niger. And they think other countries are going to just fold their own arms. They will not fold their arms. They are going to fight back. And they are underrating the war in the manner a camel underrates scorpion. Ask anybody who knows the desert very well. The smallest insect that gives camel the biggest headache in life is the scorpion. The moment a camel sees a scorpion, it runs like hell because the scorpion kills the camel in spite of the size. In this case, Niger is the scorpion, Ecowas will be the camel. It will just be a matter of days and time. In international politics, you don't cherry pick what you want to destroy. You don't cherry pick. They are cherry picking on Niger. And it is an unavoidable blunder. Here is a country, Nigeria, that has multitudinal, multidimensional, endless social, political, economic, and all other problems remaining unsolved, still counting. People are living in abject poverty. You don't even have money to pay arrears, no money for infrastructure, no money for this, no money, and you think you have money to lead a war because other countries in ECOWAS don't have the money. Nigeria will fund this war, and Nigeria doesn't have the capacity to fund this war.
Wow. What is your take? ECOWAS are meeting again tomorrow, from what we know and what we've been told, in Abuja. The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, will be present. We are aware of that. What do you think is happening, and what is your own take? Niger is still in the news. 2 days ago, a British Airways was forced to do a 10-hour flight to nowhere as Niger closes its airspace. It seems that France continued to, according to the news coming out, flew one of their aircraft into the airspace. Do we need to be concerned as those of us in Nigeria? What is your take? Airlines have diverted some of their African flight as the Niger airspace is now closed. The Niger could complicate route for European airline across Africa. Was this a very strategic country? And that means that every European countries are doing everything possibly best to make sure that they bring back the ouster President Mohamed Bazoum. European carriers have reported disruption and even suspended flight across African continent as at Monday after the Niger military government closed its airspace on Sunday. The military government is bracing up for the response from the economic community of West African states, ECOWAS, after ignoring its deadline to reinstate the country's ouster President Mohamed Bazoum or face the threat of military intervention. Do you think that ECOWAS will go ahead and come out tomorrow as more sanction, as we know, is currently being lashed on by the President of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu? Do you think that the distribution of electricity that have now been disconnected, we've also now been getting a report some few hours ago of someone that might not be in the public domain for some time, has now come out to also say something. Who is that person? Who is that individual? What is his own agenda? Is he also working as his own or working as? We come back after this.
Radio UK. This is Sound Radio UK. This is Sound Radio UK.
Do you think? Good evening to you, Mr. Sheyi, Dash Mayor. Good evening to you. Good evening to you, Mr. Akim Ayodele. Comrade Shegun Ono, welcome to the program. France and US and the European Union wants to trans-gas pipeline through Niger and territory badly, and Niger uranium and nuclear power is critical for the European Union. Olaolu Sunday, good evening to you. Mr. Adetunji Yusuf, all what I'm asking for is Baba, Professor Kitoye, state and the strong man to follow. Once again, as we continue to look at what is happening in Niger at almost 20 minutes past 1900 hours. Tomorrow is another big day for the Ecowas. What do you think is going to be the outcome of that? All that I'll be telling you in just about a few minutes.
In your car, at work, at home, on your smartphone. Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7. Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7. In your car, at work, at home, on your smartphone.
You can listen to us, on all the platforms.
The best radio show.
And I say good evening once again. And I looked at so many discussion that is going on tonight. I'm trying to see if we can get, what the presidential spokesperson said as well. That will be coming up in just about a few minutes. But also there have been response from the government in exile of the Biafra. I'll be telling you what, we know and what they are saying. Is Nigeria taking more than it can chew? Or is it just ready for whatever the consequence of what might happen as well? All these is part of the discussion tonight as we continue to review what is happening. But let's listen again. Let's listen to this.
I want us to understand that Biafra people, over 70 million Biafrans, are standing shoulder to shoulder to any nation, to any ethnic group, to any ethnic nationality within Africa who want to free themselves from oppression and modern slavery.
In a recent tweet on August 7th, 2023, Biafra advocate Simon Ekpa has called on emerging leaders across Africa to come together and work as a team for the cause of freedom. Standing firmly behind the new leaders of Burkina Faso and Mali, Ekpa declared the Biafrans are standing very strong behind them, emphasizing the importance of collective action in the quest for freedom and equality. Ekpa's address also talked about potential challenges that may arise, particularly in the face of potential military intervention by Nigeria in Niger Republic. He pledged unwavering solidarity, asserting that should Nigeria engage with the North in an invasive manner, he and others will be prepared to engage from the eastern region, showcasing a united front against oppression. In a resounding conclusion, Ekpa said, "For the freedom of Biafra's sake, we will stand shoulder to shoulder with you if Nigeria attacks your nation."
I want to start by encouraging the new Mali president, Colonel Assemini Goïta. I want to also encourage the new Burkina Faso president, Ibrahim Traoré. And finally, I want to encourage the new Niger Republic president, General Omar Chiani. I want them to understand that the wave of freedom that is now in Africa, especially in West Africa, must continue. We want to let them know this morning that Biafrans are standing very strong behind them. We are fighting the self-freedom, both economic freedom and the complete freedom of our people. And I want them to understand, should in case Nigeria lead a military invasion of Niger Republic, they should understand that they have brothers and sisters and alliance in Biafra land. I want them to understand that we are going to stand shoulder to shoulder to fight against Nigeria for our own freedom. So if they are worrying about Nigeria invading and attacking Niger Republic and how they are going to do it, engage them from the north, it is going to be more easier. Why they engage Nigeria in the north, we the Biafra people are going to engage Nigeria from the eastern region. I just want this particular message to get to these powerful and the very rugged revolutionary leaders of the Pan-Africa present day. I want them to understand that Biafra people, over 70 million Biafrans, are standing shoulder to shoulder to any nation, to any ethnic group, to any ethnic nationality within Africa
who want to free themselves from oppression and modern slavery. The new colonialism that we are fighting today must end. So I want them to understand that we are standing very strongly behind them. Countries like Finland have not colonized anybody. They are doing quite fine. We have seen many atrocities being committed in our land, in Biafra land, for example, where the Nigeria oil is being exploited from. People die every day. They don't care about us. It is time we put it an end. And that's what Biafra is fighting for. So, my fellow brothers and sisters from the other part of the West Africa who have risen up to fight for their own freedom and to liberate themselves from these demonic sucking and blood-sucking demons. I want you to understand that Biafra, for the Biafra's sake, for the freedom of Biafra's sake, we will stand shoulder to shoulder with you if Nigeria attack your nation. Nigeria.
You've heard the government in exile of the Biafra, Mazi Simon Ekpa speaking there. This was released, during the week, shoulder to shoulder. Should Nigeria attack, and they would also be attacking, from the other side as well. What is your take on that? What do you think? As it seems that there's so much pressure, for this government to handle. Is the government doing the right thing? Is the government doing the needful? All this is part of the discussion as we're going to now go into what do we from the President's Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngelale. What is he saying? I'm going to tell you that in just about a few minutes.
Star Radio UK. This is Star Radio UK. This is Star Radio UK.
Well, also, let me give you some of the update from the UNICEF when it comes to violence against women before we go to Angeli. As we say, we pray for the family of a mother that was killed, a sister, an auntie. She died in Ogun State in the hands of a businessman husband just because she wanted to ask for the upkeep. They're no longer living together. 16 facts about violence against women and girls in Nigeria. Highlight, violence against women and girls is one of the most widespread, persistent, and devastating human rights violations in the world. 1 in 3 women experience physical, sexual, or intimate partner violence, are victims of trafficking or subject to violent social norms. This is a collection of 16 advocacy briefs highlighted fact, context, and recommendation about violence against women and girls in Nigeria. It is sponsored by the Spotlight Initiative, the world's largest target effort to end all forms of violence against women and girls. In this compilation of facts about violence against women and girls in Nigeria, we are only confronted with the evidence of worrying trends, which again, this happened on Sunday, but UNICEF is demonstrating that violence in all forms can be preventable. We salute the courage of the tenacity of all the change makers mentioned, but the question is, what more can be done when it comes to violence against women? I'm going to be coming back again to that, and now let's go straight and hear the latest interview that was granted by, again, the presidential spokesperson. As we know, he was appointed by Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and I'm talking about Ajuri Ngelale. He is the special advisor on media and publicity. The president urged him to bring his wealth of experience to bear the new assignment, and I can tell you, he's been speaking. Okay, let's listen to this first. We come back to You Don't See IGBOHO in just about a few minutes. 1 minute before we listen to Ajuri. Good evening to you, Luther Mati King. Let me get more of your comment out there. Moses Olarin say, I love someone Ekpa message. I think the same thing happened in Nigeria. It is an high time for the people to experience freedom and not slavery by their own people. So before we now go further, Waris Jinadu, good evening to you. Good evening to you. Ajuri Ngelale is the official spokesperson from the government. And this is how he's been responding to question when it comes to Niger update as we're looking into that. In the next half an hour, we'll be going straight to the conversation when it comes to Yoruba Nation and the good news that I'll be going to telling you in the next half an hour. So you want to sit back, let's listen to
the official spokesperson for the Nigerian President Bola Tinubu, who is also the chairman of ECOWAS. And you're joining us live from the Nigerian capital, Abuja. Thank you for being on the program with us. Look, ECOWAS set a deadline to restore constitutional order in Niger. That deadline passed almost 48 hours ago, and nothing has happened. Does ECOWAS now have a credibility problem?
Frankly, that account is untrue. There have been moves to the effect that based on the consensus resolution passed by ECOWAS member heads of state at the last ECOWAS extraordinary meeting, on that authority, the chairman of ECOWAS and the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has approved the issuance of a fresh slate of sanctions to be issued through the central banks of Nigeria on entities and individuals associated with the military junta in Niger Republic. So let us be clear. There has been a firm ultimatum that was based on a mandate that has been backed by ECOWAS protocols which have been in place for years, and the ECOWAS member heads of state will not back down from their duty of upholding the protocols as agreed by all member states.
Okay, so let's talk about next steps then. There's a meeting of ECOWAS leaders on Thursday. Will President Tinubu be at that meeting pushing for military intervention?
The chairman of ECOWAS, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, will be present at that meeting holding in Abuja, our great nation's capital, and indeed his colleague heads of state in the ECOWAS community will also be present. We do not want to engage in any kind of speculative conjecture as to what our next steps will be, but certainly we will be fully committed, as we have been throughout this process, to upholding the ECOWAS protocols with respect to how ECOWAS member states will handle any illegitimate overthrow of constitutional order in any of the ECOWAS member states. And the same holds true for the scenario we're watching unfold in Niger Republic. We want to emphasize very clearly to the international community tonight that we stand unified in solidarity and in our determination not to hold brief for any other nation, not to adopt the position of any geopolitical position of any other country or group of countries, but to stand for Africa on an African position that we are determined.
Well, you've been listening to the newly appointed, and I think he's doing the right job that he's been paid for. That is exactly what you expect him to do. He's not going to add more. He's only going to be adding extra to what he has been appointed. He's appointed as a media and publicity. We're going to listen to the final part, in just about a few minutes. But I have another angle. He's been talking about whether all Africans are excited that ECOWAS is going towards whatever is going to happen. Tomorrow is another day. On the 10th day, good evening to you, Aziz. 1 minute, Angere, you're going too fast. One thing we need to understand is the Niger crisis is not going to end anytime soon because the junta are not backing down. Also, there has been different individuals responding when it comes to the issue on the table, and we need to know the final part. But let me come back again to this, and then I'll come back in a minute.
Democratic governance is sustained on the continent for the prosperity, security, and development of the countries on our beloved continent.
Okay, but the question is how? How do you do that? How do you stand for Africa? Because what ECOWAS now does could set some kind of precedent. Either there is firm action that deters the coup leaders from continuing. And that's precedent-setting, frankly, for ECOWAS if it does happen, or there isn't. And that is a sign that perhaps ECOWAS, can't really do a whole lot when there is a coup in the region. After all, there have been coups in Mali, in Burkina Faso, and in Guinea in recent years.
And that has been the argument that why is Niger so important when we have seen Mali, Burkina Faso have also had issues like these? Why? Why is this so much important? And I've got the answer for you in just about a few minutes. Because the why, the reason for why will be known in just about a few minutes. Once again, this is still the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. It's exactly 1935 as we continue to look into the update from Niger. Thank you so much to my back-end team, the engineer, and also to everyone out there listening to us tonight. But one thing is, it seems that someone have another response to Ajuri and Ajuri Ngalali. A very beautiful name, if you want to put it that way, but very hard to pronounce. But one thing we need to understand is Bola Tinubu, the president, taking all measures? What is going to happen tomorrow? Let's listen to the final part of Anjuri, and then we move swiftly.
That was also the reality under different leadership. You would recall that in other countries, under the ECOWAS umbrella, there have been elections held since then. Newly elected leaders have emerged since then, and the reaction as a result will be different. But we want to be very clear about this. We are not taking the kind of simplistic and bifurcated approach that some international media have chosen to take, which is that either you must go in or you're not serious, or you stay out, and you're serious, or you stay out and you're not serious. We do not accept that simple narrative. What we are saying is that we have multiple levers on which we can leverage to achieve the end that we are seeking to achieve, which is to uphold the ECOWAS protocols by ensuring that there is a return of civilian democratic rule under the leadership of President Bazoum as duly elected.
So what happened if all this doesn't happen? What happened if the junta refused to back down? What happened if the junta refused to allow the ouster President Mohamed Bazoum to come back to power? It seems someone have another answer from another angle. But once again, if you're joining us for the first time, it is the Star Radio UK network.
Star Radio UK. This is 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 Star Radio UK. In your car, at work, at home,
on your smartphone.
Every Wednesday, I'm live here on the Star Radio UK network, the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. And if you're not aware, this sound is always the one that comes out when we went to Ekiti. And we come back to that later at about 8 o'clock when we go straight into the news that we have for you. It's a very great news. Make sure you stay behind at exactly 8 o'clock. I'll be telling you what you need to know on that update on the news when it comes to Yoruba Nation. But for now, let's listen from another angle of what this individual is saying on when it comes to the issue with Niger.
One of the West African leaders, Macky Sall, is behaving worse than a bull in a China shop, arresting innocent citizens, dumping them in prison, firing tear gas on protesting people and so on. West African leaders have not seen these clear violations of the rights of the people of Senegal. He's managed to put his only viable opponent in prison. And so West African leaders are not complaining. Now, at a certain point, Islamic insurgents had managed to seize more than 50% of the land territory of Burkina Faso. West African leaders were not worried. As far as West African leaders were concerned, that was democracy. More than 50% of the land territory of Burkina Faso had been seized by Islamic insurgents. West African leaders were not worried at all. West African leaders looked on as the Malian president behaved with impunity, shooting into demonstrators, arresting his opponents, and so on. They looked on. They were quite comfortable with that. They looked on as the president in Guinea continued to misbehave. He completely was misbehaving. They had no difficulty with that. But as soon as the military intervened to stop the killing and to stop the wanton destruction of life and property, West African leaders wake up. And they wake up, and what they want to do is to reinstate these bankrupt, useless leaders who are clearly acting against the interests of their people and violating their national constitutions. What is wrong with these West African leaders? I can imagine that when they met in Abuja to take this reckless decision, they were scared to the marrow, all of them. They acted out of fear of the consequences of their own actions, fear of the consequences of their misrule, fear of the consequences that the masses in their country will rise up against them. And somehow, these West African leaders believed that if they could send soldiers to Niger and reverse the situation, it will put the fear of God in others who want to rebel against new colonial dictators. They are lying. They are lying. They don't understand the West African people.
Wow. That is the take. Good evening to you, Aziz, and welcome. And, we look forward to more of you as well as you're joining us on the Star Radio UK network. There is now a new development. And that development is someone has also come out to say, we are not happy with the situation in Niger. And we will be also doing what we can do to back Ecowas. The question everybody's asking is, I hope this is not the plan B from the West. Who is this individual and what do we know about him? The engineer have just adjusted the picture, and right there on the screen, I'll be telling you who this individual is. And this is a news that I've just filtered out some few hours ago. There's an accident on the Lagos-Eko bridge. I'll be telling you everything about that. But in 15 minutes, you want to stay behind because there's a great news coming out from the Yoruba nation that we're going to be telling you. Former Niger rebel is now launching anti-coup movement. The Council of Resistance for the Republic says it supports ECOWAS bid to restore constitutional order in Nigeria. Thank you so much, Olanipekun. Also, Samson Oladipo, good evening. Wasil Femi, good evening to you. Femi Bright, good evening to you. Shout out to those of you in Benin Republic, in Sierra Leone, and as many Nigerians in Niger, because I already saw some of the evils that are protesting. I also heard about a Yoruba woman that came out complaining that electricity has been turned off by Nigeria, and that is literally affecting her. What do we know, and who is this individual? A former rebel leader and a politician in Niger has launched a movement opposing the military government that took power in July 26 coup, a first sign of internal resistance to the armed rule in the strategically important Sahel country. In a statement today, Risa Bola said his new council of resistance for the Republic, CRR, aims to reinstall the overthrown President Mohamed Bazoum, who had been in detention at his residence since the takeover. Triple A says, I share tears for West Africa. Thank you so much, my brother. I can't love you more. I love you so much. We cannot love every one of you less. What is the game being played right now? Tomorrow, Ecowas is coming out. We don't know what is going to be their communique. We know that a week ago, action was what the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the chairman of Ecowas, stated. But today, we have another Council of Resistance for Republic under the leadership of Risa Bola, saying that you must return President Mohamed Bazoum or we will not take it easy with you. Niger is the victim of a tragedy orchestrated by people charged with protecting it, according to the statement. The announcement comes as diplomatic effort to reverse the coup have stalled. Do you think that this coup will come back? Luther says he's being kept isolated and forced to eat dry rice. Good evening to those of you on our Twitter space tonight. Aregbe Shola, I hope it's not the same Aregbe Shola that left, the government earlier. Thank you so much for those of you that have joined us on all the different parts. Yemi Fatuke, my brother, good evening to you. Shout out to those of you. At 8 o'clock, it's going to be all Yoruba language, and we'll be telling you what you need to know when it comes to the Yoruba Nation movement. Again, as we say, it is time that the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should look inward when it comes to the issue of the rendition, kidnap of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and also the embargo on Dr. Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Do you think that any changes is going to happen? What is your take? Do you think that the Biafra government in exile putting their weight and supporting the Niger is the right thing to put in place as well? How many more Africans do you think will fight against the Ecowas should Ecowas roll in the tank into Niger? What do we know about Niger for the benefit of our listeners from around the world? We know that Niger is a very, very strategic location. Niger, or the Niger, officially the Republic of Niger, is a landlocked country in West Africa. It is a unitary state bordered by Libya to the northeast, as many Africans travel through that route. Do you think that the presidential spokesperson and jury spoke very well? What is your take when it comes to the violence against women and girls? What is your take with Akpabio saying that money has been paid into the accounts? Or is prayer, rather? Good evening once again to my beautiful mom. And once again, shout out to each and every one of you listening and watching us from different parts of the world. Comrade Plan B says, Nigeria, a country without any active local government. Our sister, a mother, was killed in a local government in Ogun State known as Ota. Yet, none of this local government is working. Luther King said the Constitution, President Bola Tinubu, who is the chairman, that on the 26th of July 2023, the military ouster Bazoum, the question is, will the junta back down? Do you think that the new leader saying that we are in support of ECOWAS, do you think that the family of the doctor that died in the general hospital will get a fair justice? Even though we know justice is never done in Nigeria. How many more of you have to wait until more women are raped? Do you know that ISIS have got a new leader? Are you worried that Buhari put together $2 billion for the road network project from Katsina to Maraba to Niger, but now 1,000 trucks are stuck in between the borderline of Niger and Nigeria? What is your take when we talk about the healthcare in Nigeria? This is what it looks like when we look at the hospitals in Nigeria. What do you think as Asari Dokubo continues to give his support to Bola Ahmed Tinubu? El-Rufai have not been clear yet. Do you think that El-Rufai should be clear or not? Put this in the comment. Thank you so much, Yawa Alaja Sherifa Agbabiaka. Temi, good evening to you. Ijaya, good evening to you. And as we say, don't be fooled by those communicating that they have a Yoruba nation. Yoruba nation is not yet declared. It is still work in progress. If anyone tells you otherwise, you need to run away from that woman called Onitiri Agbola or Onitiri Dagboru. Ajakale Arun has also been speaking. There's a woman called Ajakale Arun. She's been saying a lot. And it is time we say to those of you that continue to listen to some of their garbage media from Ijile, Wale Ali, that you need to be very careful so that you are not trapped into known as a terrorist around the world. Many of you diaspora needs to be very careful because you could be tagged as terrorist. This will be discussed in the next 9 minutes. As we continue to wait for the Ecowas update in the next 24 hours, what is going to be their communique? Also, we know that the election tribunal are working very hard, but it seems that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing everything to protect his result from Chicago. Was Bola Tinubu a woman at that time? Or is it just that Bola Tinubu, the president, does not want you to know? The Super Falcon have eventually exited out of the World Cup being played in Australia and New Zealand after they lost out to England. What is your take as all this is being discussed? Do you think that the NLC is doing the great thing, getting the bargain for Nigerian workers? Or is it the same rhetorics NLC enjoy while the rest are waiting? Do you think that Atiku will get the rerun that he's looking for? The economic crunch continue in Nigeria as the pound continue to rise against the dollar. The dollar against the naira. As of today, it keeps pushing to about 900 naira to $1. What is Bola Tinubu government going to do? He's been talking about tax reform. A 400 level student from University of Ibadan has also been put along with the committee. Do you think that you're excited to see young people, Bola Tinubu, bringing them on board? What is the cost of living as we speak today? How many Nigerians can afford 3 square meal? According to the United Nations, you need to have $2 to enable you to eat 3 square meal. Do you think that Nigeria has the money to fund the war when many Nigerians, up to 130 million, do not have access to 3 square meal? What is the price of tomato? What is the price of everything in your own community? Do you think that the Senate and the House of Reps are doing the best job when they get high salary and yet many Nigerians cannot afford 3 square meal? Mr. Peter says, good evening, Mr. Koike. Thank you so much for joining us. What is your take on all these? Let us read your comment out on the Star Radio UK network tonight. Once again, violence against women and girls must not be tolerated. As we say, injustice to one is injustice to all. If we keep quiet, there will be more atrocity across Nigeria. Yoruba nation, Biafra nation, Arewa nation. Is it the best option? Some say we should wait for restructure Nigeria. Do you think that Nigeria can be restructured under this new government? Do you think that Bola Ahmed Tinubu will do everything needful for the dissolution of Nigeria, or he will play the same card like President Muhammadu Buhari? Good evening to you, Madi P. He said Nigerians have missed the concept. What is the concept? As we say, injustice to one is injustice to all. How much more time do we have before the next person is killed? Bola Tinubu say, we will go for the war, but let us negotiate. What is going to be the outcome? As the Yoruba say, do nothing and something will eventually come back for you. Say something and then you are likely to save many lives. Do you think that this government have started on a good note? Ǹjẹ́ ìjọba Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu ìjọ bẹ̀rẹ̀ dáadáa? láti May 29 títí di wákàtí. Bí a ti ṣe ń gbẹ́nu lọ sọ́rọ̀ Yorùbá nation, Biafra nation, Arewa nation, Oduduwa republic, Yorùbá kingdom, kí lẹ rò pé ó tọ́ sí ọ̀nà? In 5 minutes, I'll be telling you exactly some of the updates that is meant to be known when it comes to Yoruba nation. But for now, the question is, what is going to happen as the economy is biting? Nigerians are crying. Food is becoming expensive. And the cost of living is not going down. Many Nigerians do not have access to the standard of living. What is your take on that? Star Radio UK. We are just half an hour before the end of the program, but for now I say
broadcasting worldwide online 24/7. Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7.
As we say all the time, injustice to one is injustice to all. If you say nothing, you might be the victim. In 4 minutes, I'll be telling you everything we need to know when it comes to the latest update from Yoruba Nation. Yoruba Nation, as some of us have said, is the only solution to some of the situation that we are facing today in Nigeria. But many people say Nigeria can still be redeemed. Nigeria can still work. Do you agree with them? Are you of the same opinion that Nigeria will work? We should give it more time. Do you think that Nigeria is working? Or do you think that Nigeria has failed? Remember, many Nigerians have died for the negligence of things that is not meant to be. She passed on Monday. She died on Sunday. Who is going to be the next victim? As I say, news coming out also from Lagos just some few minutes ago that there was an accident again in Lagos State. And the question again is, what should we do to save the next life? Should we continue to campaign? Should we continue to ask questions? Should we continue to advocate for the dissolution of Nigeria? Or those that say Bola Tinubu is doing the needful and we must give him time? Do you think that we have the time? 2 dead, 5 injured in Lagos multi-auto crash on Eko Bridge. Kendi Oseni say Nigeria cannot walk. Madipi say, how can Nigeria walk with the same mentality? Can you wear the old clothes or the new clothes? Mrs. Elizabeth, thank you so much. What is your take when it comes to Nigeria? Let's give you some of the quick one when it comes to some of the news coming out of the other side of the globe as well. 1 killed, scores injured in a blast in a Russia warehouse. The World Bank have suspended new loan to Uganda over anti-LGBTQ law. 41 migrants missing after the new Mediterranean ship wreckage. These are some of the other news. Zimbabwe will be lost if I am not re-elected. Also, ELN plans Colombia Attorney General assassination. 80% is now in control of the gang. Once again, as we say, Yoruba nation, some say it is not yet time. What is your take? Japan marks 78th anniversary of the US nuclear attack on Nagasaki. Do you think that we might also be experiencing another nuclear attack? Do you think that the Tinubu and the Senate are working hand in hand? Do you think that this Senate will play for the betterness of Nigeria, or will play the rubber stamp? In exactly 1 minute, I'll be giving you the news that we need to know. Prince Harry title is now finally removed from the royal family website. Is it right on Harry? Is it right on the royal family to remove Prince Harry's title on the royal family website? Is there a problem between Harry and the brother? What is going on between the royal family? Also, the world's largest cruise ship is almost ready. As we say, one thing is, Star Radio UK gives you all the news happening around the world, and we also tell you exactly what you need to know. And this is again.
UK. This is Star Radio UK. In your car, at work, at home,
on your smartphone.
Mo kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá káàkiri gbogbo ibi tí ẹ bá ti ń gbọ́ wa tí ẹ ti ń wò wá pé a kú ìpalẹ̀mọ́, a kú oríire náà nítorí pé ìròyìn tí ó ń bọ̀ láti ẹgbẹ́ àwọn mega rally nílùú Amẹ́ríkà òun ni pé ní oṣù tó ń bọ̀ lágbára Elédùmarè bí gbogbo wa ti ṣe mọ̀ pé ní ọdọọdún ni wọ́n máa ń pe kinní kan ní United Nations General Assembly. Ní ọdún yìí náà United Nations General Assembly máa wáyé ní ìlú Amẹ́ríkà ìyẹn ní New York City lágbára Elédùmarè. Ìpàdé tó ti lọ lánàá àti tó tún máa wáyé ní ọ̀sẹ̀ tó ń bọ̀ ó ti fi dá wa lójú pé Yorùbá Nation Mega Rally ó máa wà ní New York City ìyẹn ní ibi tí a mọ̀ sí United Nations General Assembly. 2023 United Nations General Assembly Yoruba Nation will be represented during the September 18 to 26. Ìjọ tí Yoruba Nation máa wà níbẹ̀ gangan a máa ṣàlàyé fún yín nígbà tí wọ́n bá máa ṣe press statement or press conference rather tó máa wáyé láìpẹ́ yìí. The 78th United Nations General Assembly 2023 bí a ti ṣe mọ̀ pé ní ọdún tó lọ àtọdún tó lọ fún ìjọ mẹ́jọ tí Buhari fi wà níbẹ̀ ọdún yìí Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu òun ló ń bọ̀. Wọ́n wá ní ká sọ fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá tó ń bẹ nílùú Amẹ́ríkà tó ń bẹ káàkiri gbogbo àgbáyé pé ká máa gbáradì nítorí pé ọdún yìí ò ní yẹ̀ ní United Nations níbi tí wọ́n ti máa gbé ètò jáde nípa gbogbo ohun tí ó yẹ kí a sọ fún gbogbo àgbáyé pátápátá. Ìyẹn àwọn mega rally ló ní ká polongo fún gbogbo yín pé ká máa gbáradì lágbára Elédùmarè. Ètò tí ń lọ ní abẹ́lẹ̀ nípa rally tó máa wáyé ní ìlú Amẹ́ríkà fún the 78th United Nations General Assembly tó máa wáyé ní between the 18th and the 26th of September 2023 lágbára Elédùmarè. Gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá tó ń bẹ nílùú Amẹ́ríkà wọ́n ní kíni wọ́n ní ká lọ máa gbáradì nítorí pé gbogbo níta ń béèrè fún pé a fẹ́ dá dúró a fẹ́ kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà. Lára àwọn tí ètò tí a tún máa gbé jáde òun náà ni pé ká sọ fún ìyẹn ààrẹ tó ń bọ̀ Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu pẹ̀lú gbogbo àwọn tó ń bọ̀ nílùú Amẹ́ríkà fún ìjáde ìyẹn United Nations General Assembly nílùú Amẹ́ríkà ní New York pé lágbára Elédùmarè ó máa wáyé. Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí ìkéde yìí ó ń bọ̀ látọ̀dọ̀ mega rally ìyẹn nílùú Amẹ́ríkà pé ká máa gbáradì. Star Radio UK òun ni ìpolongo yìí ti jáde ní ẹni ọjọ́ kẹsàn-án oṣù kẹjọ ọdún 2023 ní aago mẹ́jọ ló lọ lù. As we prepare for that, we will be telling you more what we need to know, the preparation when it comes to the mega rally that will be happening in America as the rally kickstart again from the United Nations, and more other rally will kickstart as well as soon as possible. But what we need to know is that the United Nations holds its rally, its assembly, and it is important that we tell the world exactly why and reasons why the Yoruba Nation wants to exit out of Nigeria. So if you are one of those that are going to be attending, I'll be giving you more details and more information as soon as we have it relayed back to us in the studio in the coming weeks as well. But for now, it has been confirmed that the Yoruba rally kicks back from the United Nations General Assembly. So let us all just prepare ourselves. Once again, Madi say, just so funny the love Nigerians have with the illusion known as Nigeria. Now we are back into the conversation when it comes to the self-determination, when it comes to the agitation, when it comes to those asking for the right to the exit of Nigeria, the inalienable right that must be respected. The question is, what do we do more? How do we engage this government? What do we need to tell the federal government so that our quest, what do we do to engage our politicians, especially those in Abuja? Do you think that our politicians would do what it takes when it comes to the Yoruba Nation conversation. Ǹjẹ́ rò pé àwọn olóṣèlú wa ní Abuja wọ́n máa gbé gbogbo ètò dìde láti darapọ̀ mọ́ ìrìn àjò Yorùbá nation? Kí lẹ̀yin rò lọ́kàn? Ẹ bá wa kọ sínú comment section fún gbogbo àwa tí à ń fẹ́ Yorùbá nation. Nígbà tí à ń sọ fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá pé ìran Yorùbá ó gbọ́dọ̀ bọ́ nínú oko ẹrú, ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ní ká sì ṣe sùúrù díẹ̀ nítorí pé oko ẹrú yẹn kọ́ ó sì tẹ́ wa lọ́rùn. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ tó lọ dìbò fún ààrẹ Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu ìyẹn ní on the 25th of February 2023. Ìbéèrè tá à ń béèrè lọ́wọ́ yín nísìn ni pé ǹjẹ́ ẹ ti rí àbí ó sì kù díẹ̀? Ǹjẹ́ ká sì ṣe sùúrù sí ni àbí báwo? Nígbà tí a sọ pé ààrẹ Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu kò rí nǹkan tó lè ṣe nítorí pé Nàìjíríà tí à ń wò yẹn ó ti tóbi jù fún èèyàn kan láti ṣe ìdó ẹ̀kọ́ ṣe lórí ẹ̀. Èyí tí a ṣe wá ń bi gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá lálẹ́ yìí ìyẹn ní ọjọ́ kẹsàn-án oṣù kẹjọ ọdún 2023 ní orí Star Radio UK pé ǹjẹ́ a sì lè sọ pé Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu ó máa ṣe kí ni? Ó sì máa ṣe ohun tí a fẹ́. Ètò tí ó ń bẹ nílẹ̀ òun ni pé kí gbogbo wa ń kọ́ ká sọ fáwọn olóṣèlú wa nílé lóko pé Yorùbá nation tá à ń fẹ́ yìí òun nìkan ló lè gbà wá sílẹ̀. Ká sọ fáwọn ọba ilẹ̀ Yorùbá pé Yorùbá nation tá à ń fẹ́ yìí òun nìkan ló lè ṣe kí ni ló lè gbà wá sílẹ̀. Orí ètò Obolawa, orí ètò
Star Radio UK. This is Star Radio UK. This is Star Radio UK.
Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí mo kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá káàkiri. Àwọn olóṣèlú ǹjẹ́ wọ́n máa faramọ́ kíran Yorùbá kó bọ́ nínú Nàìjíríà? Ǹjẹ́ àwọn olóṣèlú máa faramọ́ pé ká pín Nàìjíríà àbí wọ́n ní faramọ́? Ẹ já gbọ́ nínú comment section. Madi P says politicians have no soul. Our mother, Pastor Mo, which type of mistake is this? These people are dangerous. Once again, as we say, there's a lot going on in Nigeria. Ẹni bá kàn òun ló mọ̀. Ọlọ́run má jẹ́ kí láburú kó kàn wá. Kò ní kàn èmi, kò ní kàn yín, kò ní kàn ará ilé wa. Ẹ wá jẹ́ ká sọ fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá pé ẹ jẹ́ ká túbọ̀ ṣe sùúrù díẹ̀ sí i. Àwọn tó ń tò ètò pé kí a bá lè bọ́ kúrò nínú oko ẹrú, wọ́n ń tò dáadáa. Ẹ jẹ́ ká fún wọn ní gbogbo tó yẹ ká fún wọn láti fi ràn wọ́n lọ́wọ́, láti fi dá sí gbogbo ẹni tí kò wá mọ̀ nǹkan kan nípa Yorùbá nation. Tí ẹ bá fẹ́ mọ̀ sí ẹ lọ sórí www.ysdm.org. Níbẹ̀ ẹ̀yin náà lè darapọ̀ mọ́ wọn. Tẹ́ ẹ bá fẹ́ darapọ̀ mọ́ wọn, ẹ̀yin náà wá wo ibi tẹ́ ẹ̀yin náà lè fi sí nípa pé kíran Yorùbá kó bọ́ nínú oko ẹrú tá wà nínú ẹ̀. A ti wà nínú oko ẹrú yìí ó tọ́jọ́ mẹ́ta. Níjọ́ wo la fẹ́ bọ́ nínú ẹ̀? Ìdí tá a ṣe ń sọ pé ẹ jẹ́ ká tètè ká múra ní kíákíá ká lè bọ́ kúrò nínú oko ẹrú náà.
Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7. Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7.
Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí i.
On your smartphone. The best radio show. The best radio show. The best radio show. Broadcasting worldwide on
Star Radio UK. This is Star Radio UK. This is Star Radio UK.
A kí gbogbo wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí pé ẹ káalẹ́ káàkiri gbogbo ibi tí ẹ ti ń gbọ́ wa tí ẹ ti ń wò wá. A kí ọmọdé, a kí àgbàlagbà. Ìta ń béèrè lọ́wọ́ gbogbo wa náà ni pé bí gbogbo ẹ ṣe ń lọ báyìí, fẹ́yìn tí ẹ wà nílé tí ẹ ń sọ pé ẹ fẹ́ lọ dìbò. Ẹ ti dìbò náà tán báyìí, oṣù mẹ́ta ti lọ lórí ẹ̀. Ǹjẹ́ ìbò tẹ́ dì? Ǹjẹ́ àlàáfíà wà nílẹ̀ Yorùbá? Ǹjẹ́ ìbò tẹ́ dì? Ǹjẹ́ ẹ lè fọwọ́ sọ̀yà pé àṣírí ó ń bò? Ǹjẹ́ ìbò tẹ́ dì? Ǹjẹ́ ẹ lè jáde síta kí ẹ sọ pé gbogbo àwọn ọmọ yín wọ́n rí ilé ìwé lọ? Ìdí tí a ṣe ń sọ fún gbogbo wa pé ẹ jẹ́ ká jáwọ́ kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà. Bọ̀ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ yín sọ pé kò tí ì yá pé ká ṣe sùúrù díẹ̀ sí i. Àwa ń béèrè lọ́wọ́ yín lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí pé nígbà wo ni a fẹ́ kúrò? Ǹjẹ́ ìbò tẹ́ dì? Ǹjẹ́ ẹ lè jáde síta? Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí i, mo kí ìyàwó Sarah Oyèlọ́wọ̀, bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo kí ìyàwó Alálùbáríkà, ìyàwó Abe, ẹ ṣé gan ni tí ẹ darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. Gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá tó ń béèrè pé ọ̀nà wo gan ló kù tá fẹ́ fi jáde kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà? Níbo ló kù sí bàbá Kóìkì? Níbo ló kù sí Professor Banji Akíntóyè? Níbo ló kù sí gangan náà? ìyẹn bàbá wa Ìgbòho Òòṣà, níbo ló kù sí YSDM, níbo ló kù sí Global Directorate, níbo ló kù sí fún gbogbo àwọn tí wọ́n ń ṣètò pé kíran Yorùbá kó bọ́ nínú oko ẹrú. Bóyá ká kọ́kọ́ gbọ́n tí bàbá wa alànà ìyẹn Professor Adébánjí Akíntóyè ìtọ́ bá wa sọ nígbà tí wọ́n lọ́ǹchì the Yoruba radio tí a ti sọ fún yín pé ó ń bọ̀, ó ti jáde báyìí, ó ń bẹ lórí shortwave. Gbogbo ẹni tó bá fẹ́ gbọ́ ìyẹn rédíò náà ní ìjọ Saturday lẹ láǹfààní àti gbọ́ ní aago 8 ìrọ̀lẹ́ títí di aago 9 ìyẹn ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá time àbí Nigerian time. Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí, gbogbo ẹni tó bá fẹ́ gbọ́ ìyẹn rédíò tí a sọ pé ó ń bọ̀ ní ọdún 2 sẹ́yìn, rédíò náà ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ń ṣiṣẹ́ báyìí. Gbogbo ohun tí ó ń lọ nínú rédíò náà ní online ìyẹn Monday to Sunday a máa gbọ́ díẹ̀ nínú ẹ̀ ká tó lọ lálẹ́ yìí. Àmọ́ ní ìjọ Saturday àti Sunday ní aago 8 ní ìyẹn Yorùbá land time àbí ní Nigerian time ẹ láǹfààní àti gbọ́ rédíò náà kétékété lórí shortwave. Tẹ́ bá ti ní rédíò shortwave kò wá ń ṣe ní Nàìjíríà nìkan, gbogbo bíkíbi tó lúkàlùkù bá wà tẹ́ bá láǹfààní àti rí rédíò tó jẹ́ shortwave, digital one àbí analog one, tẹ́ bá ti tune ẹ̀ sí 17735 níbẹ̀ lẹ ti máa gbọ́ ètò gbogbo ohun tí ó yẹ kó lọ. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ program ló máa wáyé tí wọ́n ń ṣètò lọ́wọ́ táwọn tí wọ́n gbétò yẹn dání nípa pé gbogbo àwọn mídíà wà lè láǹfààní àti máa sọ̀rọ̀. Ibẹ̀ náà ni bàbá wa á ti máa bá wa sọ̀rọ̀. Àmọ́ nígbà tí wọ́n lọ́ǹchì rédíò náà, bàbá wa alànà Professor Adébánjí Akíntóyè wọ́n tún fi tó wa létí pé sẹ́ẹ̀ gbogbo ẹni tó bá ṣì ń sọ pé Nàìjíríà ọ̀nà ṣì ń bẹ níbẹ̀, Nàìjíríà ìlọsíwájú ń bẹ níbẹ̀, Nàìjíríà gbogbo ẹ̀ ṣì máa lọ bó ṣe jẹ́ kó lọ létò, Nàìjíríà ó ṣì máa tò, ó ṣì máa dùn, ó ṣì máa lárinrin. Bóyá ká tún gbéyẹ̀wò, ká farabalẹ̀, ká gbọ́n tí bàbá ìyẹn alànà Professor Adébánjí Akíntóyè èyí tí wọ́n bá wa sọ nígbà tí wọ́n ń bá gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá sọ̀rọ̀ pé gbogbo ẹni tó bá sì ń rò lọ́kàn, tó bá ń rò lọ́kàn, ẹja gbọ́n tí bàbá sọ.
And our dictum was free education is education is the legitimate legacy of every Nigerian child. Our legislators, senators, the Latin North, one Professor, a mọ̀ pé bàbá yín Awólọ́wọ̀ ó ní strong desire láti ṣe kí country yìí dáa, kó mú ẹgbẹ́gbẹ́, kó di olówó, kó di prosperous country, powerful country in the world. A mọ̀ ó ní strong honest desire, sincere desire láti ṣe. A mọ̀ pé ó ní ability láti ṣe. A dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé ó wá ní àwọn ọmọ kan school soldier, àwọn ọmọ ẹ̀ tí gbogbo wọn ń worship ẹ̀ tó jẹ́ pé nǹkan tó bá ní ká ṣe fún Nàìjíríà wọ́n á ṣe. Ẹ̀dẹ̀ ń ṣe amọ̀yín amọ̀wọ́ ìwọ Professor Akíntóyè tá à ń bá sọ̀rọ̀ ya mọ̀ ẹ́. So a mọ̀ pé bàbá yín lè ṣe, ó lè build Nigeria into a powerful rich country in the world, but we don't want it. In February 1982, mo wá lọ bá bàbá, mo kúrò ní Senate láàárọ̀, mo lọ bá bàbá, mo ní bàbá wa o. Ṣé ẹ ṣùọ́ bí mo ṣe ń wọlé ní bàbá lójú mi pé ojú mi ò dá nígbà yìí ọ̀nà ní lọ́kùnrin lókè good money, I don't feel good, sir. Bàbá wa ṣé ẹ ṣùọ́ pé nǹkan tá à ń ṣe wọ̀nyí mọ́gbọ́n wà. We are fighting to build a country. A major part of the country said, we don't want the country to be built. We don't want it. We will not let you. And we will never give your father a chance to do it. Bàbá wa ní báyìí wá jókòó sórí ìṣẹ́tìtì wá jókòó sọ́dọ̀ mi pé mo fẹ́ bá a sọ̀rọ̀ kan. Wọ́n á gbọ́ Ọbànjọ́ ọmọdé ni ẹ̀, ọmọdé ò ní ṣàìṣe ọmọdé, òótọ́ you are a brilliant intellectual professor and so on, but you are a child.
there is something that you are omitting, and that's because you are a child. What you are omitting is that every human being loves good things and wants good things for themselves. If they don't want it today, they might want it tomorrow. Therefore, we must keep making those good things available to everybody. Okay, Baba. Okay, Baba. That's our father. But by 2006, you come to the conclusion, but no, they built in Nigeria. In 2000, only 2000, in 1987, Baba, our leaders in Fulani were sending condolence messages. You are low control our Yoruba, or one lose Baba, one lose leader, one. Olusegun loved these people very much, and he did a great deal of things for them. He gave them free education and therefore raised them above all the other peoples of Nigeria. Then here if we had allowed him to be elected president of Nigeria, he would have done the same thing for all of Nigeria. But we don't want it. If we had allowed him to be elected president of Nigeria, he would have done the same things for all of Nigeria. But we don't want those things. They still don't want them today. And so the answer is that we must get out. I took my decision that Yoruba nation does no longer belong to Nigeria in 2014. A large number of us gathered in a very powerful intellectual meeting took that decision. So,
well, you heard it very well, without mixing words. That is our father giving us the background of the late Obafemi Awolowo, and also after Tibaba Ku. Moki Yawa Sarah Oyelowo lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo kí Grandma Princess Adébímpé Awoniyi, mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin ti Ìjẹ̀bú Òde, bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo kí ẹ̀yin ti gbogbo Èkìtì, ti ìlú Oǹdó. Bàbá wa Adéníran Adémọ́lá mo kí yín, bàbá wa James Risi mo kí yín, mo kí bàbá wa Ọmọlára Ọlábọ̀dé mo kí yín dáadáa, bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo kí Ọláolú Sunday, mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ̀ ń darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. Ọkọ̀yà Fọláyà sọ pé Yoruba politicians are very weak. Their will not support our move, but God will shame them. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo kí bàbá wa Shitu Ọmọwùnmí, mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń darapọ̀ mọ́ wa lórí gbogbo TikTok àti gbogbo ibikíbi tí ẹ ti ń gbọ́ wa káàkiri gbogbo àgbáyé. Orí ètò Yorùbá Nation Conversation náà ni a bọ́ sí abala ẹ̀ báyìí. A sì ní ìṣẹ́jú 10 lórí ètò Star Radio UK kó tó di pé a máa mú ètò yìí wá sísàlẹ̀. Gbogbo ẹni tó bá ń darapọ̀ mọ́ wa, ìbéèrè kan náà tí ẹ ń béèrè ní gbogbo wa ni pé nígbà wo gan náà ni ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá Nation yìí máa níyanjú, àti pé kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ bàbá wa olóyè Dr. Sunday Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho lẹ́yìn ìgbà tí ìyá wọn ti ṣe kíni tó ṣe ni tí wọ́n lọ bí tí àgbà ń rè, kọ́lọ́run ọba Elédùmarè kó bá wa foríjì ìyá náà. Gbogbo ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ẹ̀yin tí ẹ̀ ń fi ohùn ránṣẹ́ náà àtẹ̀yin tẹ̀ ń pè pé kí bàbá wa olóyè kí wọ́n tún gbé yẹ̀wò dáadáa, nítorí pé ìjọba Nàìjíríà kò dàbí tí wọ́n fẹ́ fi olóyè sílẹ̀. Èèyàn náà la ṣe wá ń béèrè lọ́wọ́ ọ̀gágun ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, ìyẹn ẹni tó ń darí ẹ̀ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ tí a mọ̀ sí bàbá Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu, pé ìgbà wo gan ni ẹ fẹ́ gbé yẹ̀wò, nígbà wo gan lẹ fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí, kí ló dé tí a sì ń fà ní ọ̀tún tá ń fà lọ́sì, kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ gan tí ẹ fẹ́ fi embargo tán wà lórí bàbá wa olóyè Dr. Sunday Igboho. Lórí ètò Star Radio UK látúwà lálẹ́ yìí ní oṣù kẹjọ ọjọ́ kẹsàn-án 2023 aago 8:10 lólù ní orí ètò tí a ti ń béèrè. Ìyẹn àwa ọmọ Yorùbá là ń bi bàbá Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu pé ìgbésẹ̀ wo lẹ̀ ń gbé kí àwọn DSS tí wọ́n fẹ́ wọlé pa olóyè kí wọ́n yọ ìtàn pè ní embargo kó lè tẹ̀síwájú nítorí pé ìrìn àjò kan ló fẹ́ rìn kó tó di pé wọ́n dá dúró sílùú Benin Republic. Àwọn ará Benin ìyẹn bàbá Patrick Talon ó ní Ìgbòho òṣè àwọn ò rí ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ kankan tó ṣe nígbà tí wọ́n lọ sílé ẹjọ́. Ẹjọ́ náà wọ́n ṣe kí ni ó dáwọ́ sósì ó dáwọ́ sọ́tún ó rí i pé olóyè Ìgbòho kò ń ṣe ọ̀daràn bẹ́ẹ̀ kò ń ṣe ẹni tí wọ́n wá ní gbogbo àgbáyé. Kí ló wá dé tíjọba Nàìjíríà ní abẹ́ bàbá Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu ìyẹn adarí ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà tí ó ti pàdé Patrick Talon bí ẹ̀ márùn-ún àti pé ọ̀rọ̀ wo lọ́jọ́ ń sọ lábẹ́ aṣọ nígbà tí wọ́n kúkú mọ̀ pé ibẹ̀ ni Ìgbòho wà láti bí ọdún méjì. Ntí olóyè Ìgbòho dókítà tó ń jà fún òun náà ni pé kó má pa ìran òun mọ́ kó má pa ìran òun mọ́ nítorí ẹ̀dìdẹ nìyẹn. A tún wá ń bi àwọn Afẹ́nifẹ́re ní alẹ́ yìí lórí ètò Star Radio UK nìyẹn ní 20 minutes past 8 p.m. on the 9th of August 2023 pé kí lẹ̀ ń ṣe ìgbésẹ̀ wo lẹ̀ ń gbé bẹ́ẹ̀ là ń bi gbogbo àwọn balẹ̀ Yorùbá náà orí adé akí gbogbo yín láti bàbá wa Awùjalẹ̀ bàbá wa Ọọ̀ni Òrìṣà àti bàbá wa Láké gbogbo ibi tí àwọn balẹ̀ Yorùbá ń bẹ káàkiri gbogbo yín náà là ń béèrè lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ Olú Ìbàdàn fìbàdàn à ń béèrè lọ́wọ́ yín àwọn gómìnà ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ètò wo lẹ̀ ń ṣe gan kí olóyè Ìgbòho kó lè yọ embargo kúrò lórí ẹ̀ gbogbo yín náà lẹ ti ń wọlé lọ bá Tinubu bẹ́ẹ̀ là ń rí yín lọ́tún lọ́sì ìgbésẹ̀ wo gan lẹ̀ ń gbé àbí pé bí olóyè ṣe wà ní Benin Republic ìyẹn ń tẹ̀yìn lọ́rùn nítorí pé olóyè nǹkan gbogbo ilẹ̀ mọ̀ pé kò ní ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ kankan lọ́rùn ju pé ó ní wọ́n ń pa àwọn èèyàn òun torí ẹ̀ ló ṣe ìdìde tó yẹ kẹ́yìn dìde ẹ̀yin gómìnà as the chief security of the land ẹ refuse ẹ dìde gbogbo ilẹ̀ dákẹ́ nígbà tí wọ́n ń pààyàn ní Ìgàngàn wọ́n ń pààyàn ní Níjẹ̀bú wọ́n ń jíyàn gbé ní Èkìtì wọ́n ń pààyàn nílùú Oǹdó wọ́n ń pààyàn ní Ọ̀ṣun wọ́n ń pààyàn ní Kwara bẹ́ẹ̀ ló ń jíyàn gbé ní Kogi wọ́n ń jíyàn gbé nílùú Èkìtì gbogbo ilẹ̀ dákẹ́ gbogbo ẹ̀yin gómìnà àwa ń bi gbogbo ẹ̀yin politician lẹ̀ Yorùbá gbogbo yín náà lẹ mọ̀ pé olóyè Ìgbòho èèyàn ńlá ni èèyàn gbòógì nílẹ̀ Yorùbá ni àmọ́ látọdún méjì ló ti ń bẹ nílùú Benin Republic. Ǹjẹ́ ó tọ́ sí olóyè kó wà ní Benin Republic látara pé ó ń béèrè fún ẹ̀tọ́ ọmọ ènìyàn? Ìdí ta tún ṣe ń sọ lórí ètò Star Radio lálẹ́ yìí kí wọ́n bá wa fi ohùn yìí kó fi bá wa jíṣẹ́ fún gbogbo àwọn sọ̀ǹgbèsọ̀ǹgbè títí dé Ìbà Gani Adams lóògùn ọ̀fẹ́ o títí dé gbogbo baálẹ̀ ibi tí olúkálukú yìí ń ṣẹ̀ sí títí dé gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá 191 local government ló ń bẹ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá lẹ́nìí kí ni gbogbo yín ṣe lórí ọ̀rọ̀ olóyè Dr. Sunday Igboho àbí kò kí ń ṣọmọ Yorùbá ni nítorí pé gbogbo alárí pé bàbá kọlà dáadáa tó sọ fún wa pé ìlà òun kò sí bí wọ́n ṣe fẹ́ parẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá lòun nǹkan kan dẹ̀ ló ń béèrè in tó ń béèrè fún ni pé àní ẹyẹ pa àwọn èèyàn òun àwọn olówó ń pa àwọn èèyàn ẹ̀ gbogbo alamọ̀ wọn àwọn Fúlàní àwọn dáràndáràn tó ń gbé àwọn èèyàn lóko tó ń bá wọn sùn tipátipá tó ń fi màálùú ba oko jẹ́ gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá gbogbo yìí tí ẹ sọ pé olóyè Ìgbòho in tó ṣe kò tẹ́yìn lọ́rùn ṣé in tí Fúlàní ń ṣe ìyẹn ló tẹ́yìn lọ́rùn ẹ bá wa fi jíṣẹ́ fún gbogbo wọn lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí orúkọ mi ni Ọláyọmí Kóìkí tí gbogbo yín mọ̀ sí koikimedia níbikíbi tẹ́ bá ti ń gbọ́ wa náà lórí ètò Kóìkí náà ni ẹ tún máa gbọ́ wa lórí Star Radio UK. Àwa tó ń fi àsìkò yìí a fi ń ṣe kí ni a fi ń dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ bàbá Patrick Talon for not looking back for standing behind the truth nítorí pé the truth òtítọ́ òun ló máa lékè. Bàbá Patrick Talon the president of the Benin Republic bílù yẹn ṣe kéré tó wọ́n gbé yẹ̀wò lọ́tún wọ́n gbé yẹ̀wò lọ́sì wọ́n rí i pé olóyè Ìgbòho kò jọ ẹni tí wọ́n ń wá kí ló wá dé tí ẹ wá parọ́ ọmọ tó tó yẹn kí ló wá dé tí ẹ fi parọ́ ọmọ tó tó yẹn tí ẹ fẹ́ jẹ́ pé ká ti ẹni. òun ṣe aláìṣẹ̀ kátìmọ́lé. So far, for however they want their country to be, the democracy has failed the Africans. Where are the Western power when they are looting our treasury and they will harbor the loot in their various nations for years before repatriate some back to us, just like Abacha $5 billion that was stolen out of Nigeria? Africa, we have suffered with lot of pressure. Yoruba nation now, oh Lord, let the need be done to liberate with the poor masses. Thank you so much, my brother, for putting that very powerful one. Babawa Rafiu and Ifowoshe. Mo wá kí Babawa Prophet Ogundele. Mo kí gbogbo Babawa Shifu Mamile Yoruba. Babawa Gẹ́gẹ́ Ojú. Ẹ jẹ́ ká túbọ̀ ṣe kíni. Ẹ jẹ́ ká ṣe sùúrù. Àwọn tó wá náà wọ́n fẹ́ gbé ìjọba délé wá. Ẹ sá fún wọn. Nítorí pé wàhálà tí wọ́n fẹ́ gbé sílẹ̀ kò ju pé wọ́n fẹ́ jẹ́ kó pè wá ní terrorist. Tó bá ti pe ọmọ Yorùbá ní terrorist, tó bá pe ọkàn ní terrorist, gbogbo àná ló máa pè ní terrorist o. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ bá mọ̀ tán pè ní terrorist, àwọn terrorist lélẹ́yìí. Àwọn ò kì í ṣe terrorist, a kì í ṣe ẹlẹ́wọ̀n, a kì í ṣe dáràndáràn. Ẹ wá sọ fún gbogbo àwọn mídíà wọn tó ń pariwo pé wọ́n gbé Adelé bọ̀. Kò sí nǹkan kan tó lè ṣe nítorí pé irọ́ fatala ló wà níbẹ̀. Irọ́ fatala ni ẹ̀ní àwọn aláṣọ bẹ́ẹ̀ nítorí pé kí ni gbogbo tó ń ṣe yẹn kò sí nínú ìlànà ètò tó jẹ́ kí wọ́n ṣe. Wọ́n mọ̀ dájúdájú ẹbí Onítìrí lọ́wọ́ pé ibo gan lòun gan wà nígbà tí Ìgbòho tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ń pariwo Yorùbá nation. Níbo lòun wà nígbà tí bàbá wa Professor Adébánjí Akíntóyè tó ń pariwo Yorùbá nation. Níbo lòun jókòó sí? Ṣé etí ẹ̀ di ni? Ṣé wọ́n gbàṣọmọ létí? Ṣé wọ́n gbàṣọmọ létí tí kò gbọ́ ní gbogbo ìgbà tí wọ́n ń pariwo Yorùbá nation? Ó wá dagboru ni. Ẹ sọ fún pé níbi tó ń gbé gbogbo wa ẹ̀ lámọ̀, but ìtọ́ fẹ́ sọ fún ni pé kó ṣe sùúrù nítorí pé kò lè kó àwa kan sínú ibi tí wọ́n máa wá castigate wa tó máa pè wá ní terrorist. Àwọn ò nígbà yẹn fún gbogbo ibi tó bá fẹ́ lọ láti sọ fún wa pé òun gba Yorùbá nation, irọ́ ló wà níbẹ̀. Kò sí Yorùbá nation kankan lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ láti oṣù tó kọjá lọ ní ọdún 2022 tọ́nà àwọn gbé òmìnira àwọn declare lórí internet. Gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá níbo lẹ́yìn ti gbọ́ pé wọ́n ń declare ìlú kan lórí íńtánẹ́ẹ̀tì. Wọ́n wá declare ìlú náà, kò wá sí àríṣà pé wọ́n declare ìlú yẹn nínú ìlú tó wà. Ǹjẹ́ mọ̀ pé wọ́n sì ń gbowó nínú náírà account? Kódà ìyẹn á máa dẹ́rìn pààyàn, á máa dàbí ìgbà tó yẹ pé àwọn tó ń tẹ̀lé wọn bóyá wọ́n need a bit of help. Ẹ béèrè lọ́wọ́ wọn pé ìlú tí wọ́n náà wọ́n ti kúrò, ìlú yẹn náà lọ tún bá operate, lọ ń gbowó sínú àkáǹtì òmìnira tó náà wọ́n ń gbà. Ẹ sọ fún wọn pé irọ́ ló ń bẹ ní gbogbo tó gbé dání, kò sí òtítọ́ kan níbẹ̀. Ọmọ Yorùbá tó bá fẹ́ gbọ́ ó kù sí í lọ́wọ́. Ibi tó bá dẹ̀ wù yín lè lè jókòó sí. Tábà kúkú gba Yorùbá nation náà, gbogbo náà la kúkú máa wà níbẹ̀. Bọ̀ ṣé Onítìrí nìkan ló fẹ́ ṣèjọba Yorùbá land tó bá gbà tán náà? Ẹ sọ fún pé ó dà pé làákàyè ẹ̀ ó kù díẹ̀ káàtó. We have 191 local government. So òun náà ló máa employ gbogbo èèyàn síbẹ̀. Ó náà tẹ̀ máa employ yín sẹ́nu iṣẹ́. Èèyàn mélòó ló ti gbaṣẹ́ náà? A sọ fún yín, a jáde pé irọ́ ló pa. Kò sí iṣẹ́ kankan nínú lọ ṣiṣẹ́ nínú website. Ó kàn fi gba information yín ni. Ẹ̀yin tí ẹ ti wá fi information yín síbẹ̀, iṣẹ́ mélòó lẹ ti rí lẹ́yìn ìgbà tẹ́ ti fi iṣẹ́ tẹ́ ti fi síbẹ̀? Ṣé wọ́n ti employ yín àbí ẹ ṣì ń dúró kọ́ employ yín? Gbogbo yín la sọ fún ẹni ẹ̀fẹ́ gbọ́. Àwọn tó kù tó sì ń tẹ̀lé tó bá yá ẹ̀ sá kúrò lẹ́yìn wọn. A ní sọ jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ nítorí pé gbogbo yín lẹ mọ̀ pé kò sí bí a ṣe fẹ́ ṣèjọba ilẹ̀ Yorùbá téèyàn kan máa wá náà nìkan lòun máa ṣe. Èmi lọ́lọ́run rán, èmi lọ́lọ́run rán, èmi lọ́lọ́run rán, èmi lọ́lọ́run rán. Ṣé òun nìkan ló wá rí Ọlọ́run? Gbogbo àwọn tó kù náà àmọ́ Ọlọ́run. Ẹ sọ fún Onítìrí pé èyí tó ń ṣe nínú ìrìn àjò yìí ó ti dàrú tó, kó lọ jókòó sẹ́gbẹ́ kan, kò ní kankan tó ní lọ́wọ́. Gbogbo Adelé tó náà ń bọ̀ à ń dúró kó wá gbé Adelé náà jáde, kó wá sọ fún gbogbo ọba ilẹ̀ Yorùbá pé òun máa pàṣẹ lé wọn lórí. Gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá náà òun máa pàṣẹ, ẹ̀rín àtẹ̀ máa pààyàn. Tí ó máa pàṣẹ lé gbogbo náà lórí bẹ́ẹ̀ ni tó bá gba Yorùbá nation náà tán. Àwọn kì í ṣe terrorist o, àwọn kì í ṣe terrorist. We are asking for the right to self-determination. Níbí la máa mú ètò yìí wá. Gbogbo ẹni tí ò bá mọ̀ nípa Yorùbá nation, ẹ lọ sí orí ysdm.org. Àwọn tán náà wọ́n ṣe Yorùbá nation wọ́n ò ní any right láti sọ pé àwọn declare ìlú torí pé kí ni on a false narrative ni. Kò sí kankan tó ń jẹ́ Yorùbá nation as a country bí ṣe bá yín sọ̀rọ̀ lọ́wọ́ báyìí, okay? So ìwọ tó ní wọ́n gba Yorùbá nation, kò wá sílùú kankan tó mọ Yorùbá nation as a country. A jẹ́ pé àrò ló yẹ ká gbé ẹ lọ. Tárò bá dẹ̀ ti full, ẹ bá gbé wọn lọ sí Yaba. tí yá bàbá dẹ̀ full ẹ bá gbé wọn lọ sọ́dọ̀ àwọn ọmọ eléwé alágbo kọ́ máa bá wọn tọ́jú yìí torí pé ẹ̀yin tẹ̀ ń sọ pé ẹ ti gba country ẹ̀yin tẹ̀ wà labroad tí ẹ̀yin náà ń sọ pé ẹ ti gba country mo ní definitely pé ó yẹ kí púpọ̀ nu yín ká gbé lọ sí mental home ká máa lọ tọ́jú yín níbẹ̀. mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo àwọn tí wọ́n darapọ̀ mọ́ wa lórí ètò náà as we bring the program to an end mo kí ìyàwó Felicia grandma bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ dúró tì wá all hail Biafra all hail Biafra wotowoto. Make sure you listen to the government in exile. Until then, I'll be back again same time next week. My name is OLAMILEKAN, and on this note, I'll be handing over back to my producer, Mr. Frank and Mr. Archie, to take control of the studio from there. And for now, remember that every Wednesday, you can join me here where we discuss issues affecting us. As for what I say, revolution will happen in Nigeria is just a matter of time.
UK. This is Star Radio UK. In your car,
at work,
at home,
on your smartphone. Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7. Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7.
in your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone. The best radio show. At work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
in your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
in your car,
At work,
at home.
on your smartphone.
gbogbo ẹni tó bá dẹ̀ fi gbọ́ lórí rédíò tí ó ń dún lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ eléyìí tẹ́ máa gbọ́ yìí this is coming from the radio that is now.
Higher with Shopify. The sales won't stop. With Charlie's technique sorted, she can focus on turning her home business into a global operation. Yes, boy. Join Shopify, the commerce platform powering millions of businesses worldwide.
Okay, well,
It's possibility powered by Shopify. Sign up for a free trial at shopify.co.uk/green. Go to shopify.co.uk/green to start selling online today. I'm Zoe. I own Macabras, which is
ẹ jẹ́ kí advert
and this is why I switched to Shopify. One of my biggest challenges was the lack of support when I really needed it.
So that is the only way they can fund the radio as well. They have to do a lot of advert on it. There's nothing we can do to that. So the radio there's a lot of advert that runs on it, and that is the only way they can fund it. So let me bring my screen back from the Star Radio, and then we'll stay for about half an hour, and then we'll bring the program to an end. Emaike Dupe Dagboru, she has nothing to offer than lies. So this is the radio now. Let's listen to it from now. Dagbodi and Bear. Thank you so much, all our Biafra brothers. That is the online version of the radio that you are listening to as we speak to you right now. That is the online version, but every Saturday, the shortwave will come on at 8 p.m. And I say good evening once again. If you have one or two people that wants to call in, I will open the phone line for a few minutes, but at 9 o'clock, I'll bring the program to an end. Bàbá rẹ̀ ń tó fẹ́ pé ìwọnú ètò nọ́mbà náà ní +44 74 044 05917. Àgbà call fún bíi méjì mẹ́ta, and then we will start. No, not that. So before we end the program, mo kí gbogbo lé pátá
láì yọ ẹnìkankan sílẹ̀. ẹni tẹ́ ń gbọ́ yìí òun náà ni the online radio of the Yoruba nation.
títí tóbi ní odò ọwọ́ tóbi dé òkun Ìjẹ̀ṣà lẹ́ni ìbọ̀lá kan náà ní gbogbo èyí ṣe ọmọ pàwọ́ kàkà òkìrì ibẹ̀ gbogbo yìí ṣe lẹ́ni ìbọ̀lá ọmọ agbódò kòrò nínú ilé òye Ìjẹ̀ṣà bẹ́ẹ̀ni tí mo gbọ́ sí kalẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ yọ̀ wẹ̀. mo kékèké ní sàṣọ yìí lóde lọ́jọ́ gbọ́dọ̀ tiẹ̀ láfẹ́ yìí kẹta èyí tó o bá ti rí lọ́jà yọ̀rọ̀ wá sílé máa rí yeye kúrú máa níye ọmọ ìjà àjọ lóye ìdùnnú bàbá mi Ìjẹ̀ṣà mọ́dún má pa Nàìjíríà ogun torí ikán ogun jàwúsá ogun torí omi ó jẹ́ Ìjẹ̀ṣà ọjọ́ ogun jàwúsá ogun kọ̀ọ̀kan ogun jẹ́ Ìjẹ̀ṣà ogun òbí lọ ní ilé kájọ Ìjẹ̀ṣà ní mọ́tò mi tó gbó ogun dàdú.
Violence against women. I think we have a caller coming through. Let's go straight to the call. Hello, caller.
Hello, Koiki.
Ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò ẹ̀ka lẹ́.
Ẹ kú iṣẹ́ o.
Àwa nìyẹn.
Ìjọba dé sínú pété. Mo ní kí kéyìn ní ẹ kú iṣẹ́ takuntakun.
Dúpẹ́ fọlọ́.
Mo ní kí encourage gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá. Yorùbá nation no going back. All of us to be up and doing. Gbogbo wa ò sùn àkọ́rí síbì kan náà. Àwọn tó jẹ́ ológun wọ́n wà ní ológun defending our territory. Àwọn tó jẹ́ economic wọ́n wà ní ètò ìṣúná owó like that, making provision to rescue our people's finance and economy. Nigeria is at the verge of breakup, and we are all technocrats that are now hands on deck working to make sure that Yoruba is safe and rescued politically, financially, economically, in all sides. I also want the communication. Radio wa ló ń ṣiṣẹ́ yẹn. Ẹ bá ní advert, ẹ fẹ́ polówó ọjà, ẹ consult tí wọ́n á bá yín polówó ẹ̀. Ẹ dẹ̀ sanwó. Advert always go with payment. That's why they call it advertisement. Ẹ lọ wo definition advertisement. It's paid for announcement. Announcement ṣe sanwó fún láti advert. So ẹ láti torí èyí jẹ́ pé àwọn míì bá jẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá nation wọ́n máa ń rò wípé tá bá ti gba Yorùbá nation bóyá ó ń yọ ọ̀fẹ́ tiẹ̀ ní gbogbo aráàlú máa jẹ. So no, it's not like that. Ayé máa bẹ̀rùn for everybody. There will be enabling environment for business to thrive.
Yeah, standard of living.
Inú wọn máa dùn wípé ó wà ní orílẹ̀. Ẹ wà àwọn ọmọ Amẹ́ríkà. Mo mọ̀ wípé àwọn kan wà l'Amẹ́ríkà tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n lùkò. Ńlọ mi máa sọ̀rọ̀ lánàá ni, bọ̀ ibẹ̀ làwọn wà. Wọ́n sọ pé wọ́n dédé pàdé àwọn eléyìí experience nurse ni wọ́n tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ pẹ̀lú World Health Organization àpò àwọn oògùn àrùn kan tó ó ní kó òun pàdé woman kan ó ti pẹ́ ní New York woman yẹn àwọn dúdú ọ̀hún ni ó ní ó lu kó bàjẹ́ kó jáde kó ní New York láti ìgbà tó ti di àgbàlagbà wọ́n wá gbé wá sí Texas ó ní that's the first time nínú hospital tó máa ó ní ó sọ fún un pé that's the first time tó o máa kúrò ní New York tó máa wọ Texas ó wá ń ṣe bí ẹ mọ tẹ bá gbéyàn kúrò ní village tẹ wá gbé wá
ó di JJC nìyẹn. The Americans don't travel. Wọn kúrò ní state wọn nígbà tí state ti tóbi jù they have a lot of states so global wide state mi. Some people don't know that.
California is bigger than Nigeria, the entire Nigeria.
So kí ló fi wá káàkiri, you know?
Ó ju gbogbo Nigeria lọ.
People don't know why we need to. And you said something there which is very important for business to strive. People don't know that this is one of the reasons why we are tired because we can't run a business that is successful between Nigeria and Europe. Where you cannot. I can't even get a visa for a business partner of mine from Nigeria. It's crazy.
From Nigeria.
So gbogbo ariwo àwọn èèyàn wa complain àwọn èèyàn wa gbogbo yẹn ni a ti analyse láti gbà láti gbéyẹ̀wò a dẹ̀ ti ṣiṣẹ́ lórí ẹ̀ everybody ti ṣiṣẹ́ lórí ẹ̀. So if you are in Yoruba land now and say you are Yoruba nation and you are complaining about economy of Nigeria, you are doing yourself. You are not a Yoruba.
Complain economy tó lè work. A dẹ̀ ní ká kúrò ní economy tó lè work. O dẹ̀ fi kúrò nínú economy yẹn. Talama blame that. Ìwọ ló máa blame ara ẹ̀ now. Because that economy is not working. Kò jẹ́ kí business is thrive. It's not working.
Yoruba economy has started. Come and key into it. Yoruba economy has started. Come and key into it. Gbé economy ẹ̀ kúrò lábẹ́ economy tó ń lọ sílẹ̀ all the time.
Economy tó ń galloping ní ti Nàìjíríà. Galloping economy ní Nàìjíríà.
Naira is on free fall. Tọ́mọ nìkan wà lórí free fall. Ìgbé kí ẹmọ kẹ lọ sí three-story building. Kẹ wá sọ ajá sílẹ̀ láti three-story building. Ẹmọ bóyá máa jábọ̀ nísàlẹ̀. Without it, free fall. Naira is on free fall. Free fall. Kò sí nǹkan tó lè ṣe ti pé kó má fall. Kó máa fall. So ibẹ̀ ẹni wọ́n sì kówó ẹ̀ sí. Sọ́ni láti sọ fún ẹni. So adẹ̀ ń sọ wípé Yoruba ti wà. And $1 is $12. Wá gbówó ẹ̀ síbẹ̀. Bí náírà ẹ ṣe ń fall, Yoruba ẹ̀ is constant. Oríṣẹ́ kò máa depreciate lábẹ́ náírà, owó máa appreciate ti ní nínú Yoruba. Tó bá dẹ̀ ní ìdíwọ́ ẹ̀ o lè gbà á wá pọ̀ bá tẹ̀ sí náírà. Tó bá gba just $1 it is almost 12,000 naira. Tó bá gba $1 ẹ jáde, wàá lò fún nǹkan, wàá lò fún ẹni tiẹ̀. Tó bá tún fẹ́ save owó ẹ̀ wàá save sílẹ̀. So there are many other things. Tó bá tún fẹ́ ṣe business àti ní àwọn investment tó yẹ pé o lè kówó tí kò ní jẹ́ nínú Nàìjíríà. A máa sọ tó máa gbé sí níta. Tó wẹ̀ máa appreciate per day. Ayé ti kọjá wípé o ní àti travel. I'm talking to Yoruba people now generally. You don't need to live where you are, but you can invest anywhere in the world. That is the new phase of economy, and Yoruba are flying with it. Once Yoruba nation is on ground, we are not backward. Nigeria ló jẹ́ káwọn èèyàn wà backward. We are going to be flying with the developed world. So it's not anything. Àwọn developing no. Tí wọ́n bá bí tí ewúrẹ́ bá bímọ ó sì lè máa rá. Tágùntàn bá bímọ ó sì lè máa rá. But tí elephant tó bá bímọ ọjọ́ tó mú elephant bá balẹ̀ báyìí ló máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí sá eré. There are different levels of operation. Yoruba will not experiment its economy like a baby. We have already experimented it. We are experimenting it even before we take independence. And the experiment, we have no mistake in it. You can get it right at the first time. When you call me, you don't necessarily need to make mistakes. Because we will mistake to your research. When you finish your research, you have experimented everything on virtual ground. Now, when you now see your left from your right, you can now start implementing. That is why God is not a failure. Because last is spiritual realm, God is see. When he finished everything, he said, this is good. He approved it and he began to implement. That's why so let me stop there. So now Yoruba, stop complaining, start acting. Radio Watiwa, whatever you want to do, you have chance to do it now. Nothing is stopping you. Stop complaining about Nigeria. Click into Yoruba economy. God bless you.
Bishop. We take another call. Bishop. The number is on the screen. Tabaturi and Totuba Dasi. You complain too much. Complain is not Sherry, that's the beauty of the online kini. Freeze nígbà tí call ń bọ̀. Bí call yẹn ṣe tán, ó lọ live again. I'm talking about the radio. Tá à ń gbọ́ lẹ́ẹ̀kan. Nọ́mbà tá a máa pè sí náà ní +447404405917. Yàwá Grace Olúṣọ̀tọ̀ ẹ ṣé gan ni mo kí mọ́mí wa Bọ́lá Ayọ̀ Adé ẹ forget about gbogbo nonsense táwọn onítìrí group yẹn sọ kò wà realistic and they know that already and they're telling lies. Ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ sọ́dọ̀ ìjọba Ìtàló káwọn náà bá wa dá sí ẹ ló kọ́lá ẹ̀mí òtún background ẹ bá ti ń pè má tó pè má ẹ̀ka tó máa gbọ́ yẹn ẹ̀mí òtún tinúlé. Ẹ̀mí òtún tinúlé náà ìjọba Ìtàló ẹ̀ ń ṣàlẹ̀ ìjọ wa náà.
Ẹ̀kálẹ̀ bọ́dà.
Ẹ̀kálẹ̀ sà.
Ìbánisọ̀ ló gbó bá.
Agbára Elédùmarè.
Ẹ pé ètò.
Ètò nìyẹn.
Ẹ̀lọ́ àwọn agbékadé ìbítà lọ.
Ìyẹn ti di dandan. Nàìjíríà máa fọ́ọ̀lù.
Ìtọ́wọ̀nù mo gbọ́ àwọn ará ẹ̀yìn ẹ̀ dáadáa nínú tí ẹ̀gbọ́n yẹn sọ àwọn ọpọlọ tí many people ní ní Europe ànígà ti jẹ́ kí àwọn Yorùbá mọ̀ pé yes agbọ́dọ̀ mú wá sílé mi ìyẹn náà máa fi mọ̀ pé yes gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹ̀yẹ sometimes ẹ máa jáde ẹ máa wo ìlú àwọn ìtẹ̀sí lọ́sàn-án mo rí àwọn ọ̀dàgá àkátẹ́ ṣe ní àmì bí a ṣe fẹ́ kí Nàìjíríà rí adé Yorùbá tó ṣọ ṣe máa rí dédé ìtẹ́ yàtọ̀ sí Nàìjíríà kọ́kọ́ ń tẹ ogun ìlú ọ̀dàgá yẹn rí mẹ́bà ọ̀kẹ́ èmi ń di iṣẹ́ àwọn electric tó fi ń charge mọ́tò electric tó fi ń charge mọ́tò tí wọ́n ń lo epo àwọn tó lo mọ́tò wọ́n sì mọ́tò lo bí 10 years ní sílùú ìlú wọn nílò epo mọ́ 10 years or 15 years nísìn nítàlù wọn lo epo mọ́ iná ni wọ́n gbó mọ́tò wọn máa lò àmì ibi tí mo ti ṣe ṣe ló supply gbogbo euro máa ya kíní yẹn máa sẹ́ndẹ̀ fún yín máa rí máa ya picture kíní yẹn nígbà sẹ́ṣọ̀ tí mo wà máa tó yà máa sẹ́ndẹ̀ fún yín àwọn lẹ́ni Yorùbá wà ní Europe láti kọ́ ọgbọ́n afẹ́kọ́ wá sí ilẹ̀ Yorùbá.
Ẹ jẹ́ kí sáré ka kíní ẹ jẹ́ ń ka kíní fáwọn èèyàn wa mo gbé kíní kan sórí screen ní sí ó ní I support an independent Wales. I support an independent Wales. Mark yẹn kan wá comment sísàlẹ̀ ó ní the only way that will happen is if we have a law society and laws purely applicable to Wales. How do you think this will happen? Number 2, we will also have to have our own parliament. How will that happen? It is a bit more complicated, isn't it? And that is for a starter. Báwọn yẹn ṣe máa ń bèrè lọ́wọ́ tiwa náà nìyẹn ẹ wá gbọ́ tẹ́ni ẹ̀dá ló ń padà ó ní not really. We have a dream for a better Wales. Let us call the destination. It is the only solution to the status quo is toxic. Tó bá pè nǹkan ní toxic, wọ́n ń pè England ní toxic based on politics. The journey has been achieved by 50+ countries. We have the faith that Wales too can take that journey. So gbogbo question táwọn èèyàn máa ń béèrè náà lọ́wọ́ wa nìyẹn Koiki ṣé máa bọ́ sí ṣẹ́ṣẹ́ kò máa bọ́ sí àwọn ará Wales gan náà wọ́n ń bira wọn bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹ wá gbọ́ bọ́ ṣe answer. So ó máa ń yà mí lẹ́nu táwọn èèyàn bá sọ pé kò ní bọ́ sí.
Mr. Koiki Mr. Koiki ẹ máa gbọ́ ẹ máa gbọ́ ẹ rí many people wà iṣẹ́ pọ̀ àwọn èèyàn sì wà àwọn ìyá wa wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ rédíò pé rédíò wa ó ti wà òkè pé a sì máa gbọ́ nípa ẹ̀ tẹ̀rí rédíò yẹn mo láwọn ìyá tó ń ta ibi tí wọ́n gbọ́ rédíò ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ ọdún máa mọ tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ many people mọ tó ń lọ.
ẹ wọ ọmọ tó lọ because of
ẹ̀rí tí ìyá ń jẹ many people ní títí ìyá ń jẹ many people.
owó tẹ bá sẹ́ẹ̀dì fún wọn tó yẹ kó ná ní owó tẹ bá sẹ́ẹ̀dì fún wọn tó yẹ kó ná ní oṣù kan ọ̀sẹ̀ kan wá pè é padà o wọ́n máa pè é padà ní àárín ọ̀sẹ̀ kan. Economy ni.
pẹ̀lú
ìtẹ́ economy sọ nìyẹn.
because ìtọ́fẹ́ fowó rà láàrin oṣù kan wọ́n ti rà láàrin ọ̀sẹ̀ kan ó ti owó ti tán.
Economy Nàìjíríà nìyẹn sẹ́. Economy.
láì fọ ìwọ́n tí wọ́n máa gbọ́ bá a máa sọ sí ìgbéláṣọ ìyẹn lásán wọ́n ti gbogbo wọn rẹ́gì wọ́n á gbọ́ tá a sọ.
kọ́mọ̀tẹ̀ gbọ́.
ìyẹn níbi iṣẹ́ tí kù iṣẹ́ sì pọ̀ àwọn tó ń béèrè pé sọ máa bọ́ sí wọn nígbàgbọ́ ni wọ́n tẹ̀ nígbàgbọ́ ẹ̀mọ iye yẹ̀rọ ẹ̀jẹ̀ àwọn tó ẹ̀jẹ̀ ń gbọ́ tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ lọ́bẹ̀rẹ̀ tó máa bọ́ sí. àtọ́rí ṣe wà ní lọ́wọ́ àti àwọn ọ̀bí ẹbídẹ́sẹ̀ yìí ní lọ́wọ́ lẹ́mọ̀ jẹ́ kó yé wọn pé àní ó máa bọ́ sí 10. Jọ́dọ̀ bí bàbá lọ́mọ ń rí náà.
Àwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà
wọ́n ṣe jọ́dọ̀ bí ọmọ kékeré ọmọ ń rí.
Àwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà work. Ṣé Nàìjíríà working? Gbogbo everybody máa pé Nàìjíríà work.
Nàìjíríà ò sí à. Àná tí ń mọ̀ ọgbọ́n ti mọ̀ ìyá ti ń jẹ ìyà ìjì jẹ many people.
Ànílùú yẹn work.
If anybody send owó.
Ó ń take wa backwards.
Owó tó bá send owó tó ń gbẹ́ lóṣù kan lọ́sẹ̀ kan.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, ó ń take wa backwards tó ń ṣe kékeré. Ó ń take wa backwards tó ń ṣe kékeré. Ẹ ṣé gan ni bàbá ẹ ká tó bá ẹ ṣé gan ni sir. Thank you so much. Ẹ ṣé gan ni ẹ ká lọ sọ́dọ̀ next caller. Àwa nìyẹn. Gbogbo àwa nìkan kọ́ là ń sọ pé a pé lọ àwọn ará Wales lélẹ̀ ojoojúmọ́ èdè wọn lélẹ̀ lọ́ fi ń communicate gbogbo ẹni tẹ́ fẹ́ pè láyìn yẹn ṣì wà open. Ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ sí the next caller as well. Ẹ lè pè lórí WhatsApp nìkan náà ni. Ẹ bá mute background ẹ bá ti ń wọlé please. Ẹ mute background. Ẹ mute background. Ẹ ti wà nulẹ̀.
Hello, ẹ kálẹ́ omi Zakoiki.
Ẹ kálẹ́ sà.
Ẹ kálẹ́ pé ètò.
Ètò nìyẹn.
Ọlọ́run máa dúró tí yẹn o.
Ṣèdùmarè.
In fact, mo ṣe ń gbọ́ ọ̀sẹ̀ wọn náà ń pa ẹgbẹ́ ṣé lóòótọ́ náà ń pa àwọn Nàìjíríà ní ṣé Burkina Faso.
Èmi ò tí ì gbọ́ yẹn o.
Ọ̀sán like that.
Èmi ti Bọ́lá Tinubu.
Mo ń gbọ́ tí iye dára ń sọ lálẹ́ pé lórí pé àwọn Nàìjíríà.
Èmi ò tí ì gbọ́ yẹn. Èmi mo ti sọ pé
Bọ́lá Tinubu. Iye dára ń sọ lálẹ́ lórí program.
Èmi mi sọ pé ó ti kó gba sí problem ní kò kó sí problem.
A ti ní problem already. A ti wà ní problem. Problem gidi la wa.
Ó ti kọ́ ìwọ rẹ̀ sínú problem.
Ní Sango láàárọ̀ yìí ti 44,000 ní mo rán ní bag of rice ní Sango ọ̀tà. 44,000. Ẹni wọ́n ti kó wa sí problem. Ìrírí àwọn àkànṣe owó déjà kan á fi mọ àgòrò lọ sí fọ̀. Inú for the past years kò sí nọ́mbẹ̀ adẹ̀ nínú Nàìjíríà la wà. Are we part of Nigeria? We are just the one country for one. Yeah, you have a war campaign. Ṣé kò rí pé community ò ní ná? Ibẹ̀ ni yá yìí ti ṣe campaign ẹ̀. You give them transfer without light. Ó fún transfer lówó dé ìjà kan. Ó fún transfer ní aládé. Without light kò sí náà fẹ́ fún transfer náà. Up till now for the last February transfer ẹ̀ wà ń lẹ́m̀bẹ̀. Wọ́n dẹ̀ láwọn ṣèjọba. So ẹ kó ètò Ọlọ́run máa ṣọ́ wa.
Àmì Ọlọ́run àmì. Thank you so much.
Yes sir.
Àwọn èèyàn rò pàwọ́ nìkan la fẹ́ lọ. Mo kí bàbá wa tó pè tán. Mo kí bàbá mi náà ìjọba ìpàdé. Mo kí bishop. Gbogbo ẹni tó bá fẹ́ pè náà láì yẹn sì wà open. Ẹ rò pàwọ́ nìkan la fẹ́ kúrò nínú ìlú kan. Àwọn Wales lélẹ̀ ẹgbọ́n kan tó tọ́ sí bíbá. Yes, wọ́n wá kọ́ lédè wọn Simuru èdè wọn lélẹ́yìí o. Wọ́n ní yes, can't wait to be independent so we don't have to deal with this crap anymore. Àwọn tó wọ́n níná wọ́n ní àlàáfíà wọ́n ní gbogbo nǹkan. Tí bá ní ìsáì pé mo fẹ́ gbé ní England mọ́ nísìn mo lè relocate lọ sí Wales because mo sì ní right láti lọ gbé níbẹ̀ mo ò ní láti ṣe lọ apply fún ìwé níbẹ̀. Ìwé ti bíbà ó allow mi láti lọ gbé ní Wales ó allow mi láti lọ gbé ní Scotland. Tí bá decide pé mo fẹ́ kúrò nísìn ok wọ́n ní tòótọ́ lọ́n pa wọ́n ní ibi tí Bọ́lá Tinubu dálẹ̀ nìyẹn. Èmi mọ̀ sọ níjẹta. Ẹ mọ̀ pé gbogbo African countries nísìn wọ́n like Nàìjíríà tẹ́lẹ̀ so it's like pé tí Bọ́lá Tinubu lọ fà nísìn gbèrè tó lọ fà lọ́yàn nísìn gbogbo wa ló máa affect. Èmi mi ti sọ yẹn níjẹta. Ẹ rò pé African countries ẹ má bínú ẹ̀ tẹ́ wà lórí Koiki mo fẹ́ máa make sure pé mo charge ẹ̀ ni mo ṣe pa kámẹ́rà yẹn wọ́n máa tán padà nísìn. Èmi mi jáde mo sọ pé Bọ́lá Tinubu ti kó gbogbo wa sí problem. Àwọn kan ní wọ́n rò pé tá a bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ ọmọ ẹ rò pé a kàn ń sọ because African countries don't like us before they don't like us. Everybody knows that. Ẹ lọ gbọ́ Ọmọlúkà níjẹta. African country wey ló like wa. They don't like us. Every one of us knows that. So why are we living in denial? Kí là ń parọ́ fúnra wa fún? We are lying against each other as if we love each other. But they don't love us. We know that. Gbogbo like ara wa African don't like àwa náà like wọn because they see us as a threat. Wọ́n mọ̀ pa nìkan. Wọ́n wá wọ́ndà pé kí ló dé tá à ń káàkiri bí ẹṣin níwò nímọ̀ tá à ń wá sí ìlú àwọn nígbà táwa ní kinní yẹn kí là ń káàkiri fún? Why are we coming to their countries? Kí lè rò pé àwọn South Africa fi ń bá wa jà? Why are we coming to their countries when we say we have everything? Kí là ń lọ sílùú wọn fún? Kí là fẹ́ lọ máa ṣe South Africa fún láti máa lọ jókòó síbẹ̀? Knowing fully well that we have everything but wọ́n mọ̀ pé because olórí burúkú làwọn olóṣèlú wa. Kí la fẹ́ lọ máa ṣe ní African countries fún? Kí là ń ṣe ní Niger? Nígbà tí Nàìjíríà ní gbogbo ohun tó yẹ kó ní kí lè ṣé yẹ ká lọ sí Niger? Bí akíntẹ̀ gbé wá sójú mi gan sẹ̀ tí mo stress ara mi báyìí gan sẹ̀. Kí là ń lọ sí Niger fún? Ẹ jẹ́ ń dá padà wá sójú mi at least that way ó better bẹ́ẹ̀ because orí tí mo gbé sí yẹn kò dúró dáadáa. Kí là ń lọ sí Niger fún? Kí là ń káàkiri fún? Kí là wá sí Europe fún? Kí là ń lọ America fún? Kátẹ̀gbẹ́ pé àwọn yẹn wà òfin ti dè wọ́n mọ́lẹ̀. America kan lè bá mi sọ̀rọ̀ anyhow because law ni dòrò ọlẹ́yìn ọ̀bọ̀n náà because America yà wèrè gan àwọn ọmọ yẹn. But African countries don't like us. Wọ́n hate wa bí ìgbẹ́ ni. African countries wọ́n hate wa bí ìgbẹ́. Everybody knows that. Wọ́n hate wa bí ìgbẹ́. Ẹ mọ̀ bí ìgbẹ́ ṣe rí tí wọ́n bá yàgbẹ́. Ẹ mọ̀ bó ṣe rí tí ìgbẹ́ tí wọ́n gan yà fún rẹ̀ ṣó lè fọwọ́ tẹ̀ tó bá yà sínú pépà ṣó o lè mú ìgbẹ́ yẹn dání. Ìgbẹ́ tí wọ́n yà lára ẹ tó jáde lára ẹ tó bá rí lára oúnjẹ tí ìgbẹ́ tó rí lára oúnjẹ tí a bọ́ tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n gangan ni tó sọ pé ìgbẹ́ tẹ̀ lélẹ̀ tó máa lè jọ oúnjẹ yẹn ó máa dànù nínà nígbà tí èèyàn ṣe wèrè. So these are the reason why ta ṣe ń sọ pé ẹ wá ní ẹ fẹ́ build economy inú economy ò lẹ fẹ́ build àwọn politicians yìí ò bá yín build economy náà àwọn build economy àwa là ń pariwo pa afẹ́ bá wọn build economy mú kí bàbá wa sí Akínyẹlé àwa afẹ́ bá olóṣèlú máa build economy Nàìjíríà ẹ̀rí pé oríwọ̀ pé we have a problem afẹ́ build economy Nàìjíríà economy tó yẹ pé galloping ni we are all ebóun lè ọmọ arábìnrin pé mo ti yọ kúrò lẹ́yìn tẹ́wà níbí báyìí because if not kò dúró dáadáa yẹn mo ṣe gbé yín wá sí báyìí òun ni àwọn wales ń tọkọ èmi kúkú kọ́ mo kọ́ àwọn náà ní Twitter handle tó fi operate August 9 ẹ̀ lọ post eléyìí òun ṣe pé wọ́n ṣe post ẹ̀ ní last year bẹ́ẹ̀mi náà ṣe ń post lórí Twitter làwọn náà ń post Dizzy 123 can Yoruba nation lead the world in financial services innovation engineering in the future? The answer is absolutely yes. We have the manpower, we have the brain. Aláwọn Yorùbá tó yẹ pé tó ọba rí wọn nínú community kan nínú organization kan ọmọ máa fún wọn ní ẹ̀dì pé ibo ni bọ̀bọ̀ yìí wà where is Mr. Kunle, where is Mr. Yomi, where is Mr. D? Because one more important thing ẹ̀yin wá fi máa bẹ́ ẹ fẹ́ build economy tó fún yín níná tí bá pa gbogbo náà nísìnyí gbogbo ẹ̀ máa dúdú ni ok mo ń ṣe program nísìnyí wọ́n wá múná lọ gbàgà wọ́n múná lọ iná lọ mú lọ nísìnyí wọ́n ti múná lọ nísìnyí ok wọ́n ti múná lọ nísìnyí Nàìjíríà mo wà nísìnyí mo ń bá business partner mi sọ̀rọ̀ lórí Skype wọ́n wá múná lọ no ok wọ́n ti múná lọ nísìnyí so kí ni màá ṣe nísìnyí màá wá lọ kan generator galloping economy peter save iná jàre ìyá ìrojú mi báyìí owó náà là ń jẹ lójoojúmọ́ save iná díẹ̀ ó tẹ̀ á lè drop yìí tiẹ̀ èyí tí mò ń wò níta ibi láti ojú window yìí ayé tí mò ń rí níbí báyìí ìyẹn art òun náà ló wà nílẹ̀ Yorùbá mò ń sọ fún wife mi pé kí ló dé táwọn kan ṣe máa gbádùn táwọn kan ní gbádùn kò make sense ìyẹn tẹ̀ ń bí ọ̀nù kan sẹ̀ báyọ̀ nílùú kan ṣe máa gbádùn tí ìlú kan gbádùn ẹ̀wá náà fún wọn ní aid ìlú kan gbádùn ìlú kan gbádùn kò make sense àwọn máa send the paracetamol send the ibuprofen send the coconut send the this láti bíbá lọ sí Nàìjíríà bọ̀tá bá sọ ẹ̀ máa ní kò tẹ́ mi lọ́rùn yín ló tẹ́ lọ́rùn mi wọn mi ṣe fẹ́ ṣe ẹ̀mí láti lọ kan náà wọn kan náà gbogbo ẹ̀ tí wàá dúdú ṣokoṣoko bí ìgbà tí yàn wà nínú Nàìjíríà nínú rẹ̀ sí Nàìjíríà ìyá kan wá ní nǹkan complain ní Niger pé Bọ́lá Tinubu ti paná ẹ̀ tí mọ̀ kankan ṣé ọ̀ṣẹ̀ ń paná ni wọ́n á nà ilẹ̀gbà African country ní ẹ ṣáà wà very careful especially ìtẹ̀wà láwọn irú Tunisia yẹn àwọn òbí burúkú kan wà. You gotta be very careful, especially as a Nigerian. Àwọn máa jókòó síbi àwọn máa sọ fún yín, Nigeria is not going to work. Ìwọ ló gbọ́ yìnbó. Òun fọ́lù ń tán sọ lórí TVC. Òun fọ́lù ń tán sọ lórí AIT. Òun fọ́lù ń tán sọ lórí Arise. Òun fọ́lù ń tán sọ lórí DSTV. You're wasting your time. Analysis àwọn máa ṣe lójoojúmọ́ nìyẹn. Iṣẹ́ mídíà nìyẹn. Sọ̀rọ̀sọ̀rọ̀ ní ìṣe wọn kí n bá lóye bó ṣe máa sọ títí tó máa dàgbà sínú ẹ̀ nìyẹn nínú Nàìjíríà ọ̀la ẹ lọ́wọ́ ọgbà àwọn ẹ̀gbọ́n yẹn tó ti dàgbà ìyẹn lẹ́yìn kébì náà máa ṣe ká máa sọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà ká dàgbà sínú ẹ̀ ìyẹn lẹ́ ń wá àwọn ò lè ṣe yẹn mo sọ́ọ̀rì àwọn ò lè ṣe yẹn mo ṣe kí ni mo sọ́ọ̀rì gan so Yorùbá nation òun lọ́nà bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ̀ ẹ ká tún wo kí làwọn ará Wales tún sọ 4 hours lè gọ́ lélẹ́yìí o ṣẹgbọn kan tó sọ síbẹ̀ come over to our store wọ́n ń ṣeré wọ́n ń jáṣẹ́rí àwọn ọmọ tábọ́tẹ́ pè mí bá ní ẹja jáde nísìn á ní ó dẹ̀ dùn mí pé yẹn tẹ̀lé rí kankan mọ́ nísìn má bínú ẹ̀yin tẹ́wà lórí bíbá àwọn ìṣẹ́rẹ́ àwọn òyìnbó campaign ló ń ṣe yìí nísìn yẹn fún pé àwọn fẹ́ gba independent come over to our store at the Elsterford Guan èdè wọn nìyẹn they are fantastic kí ló ń polongo wọ́n polongo fáwọn fẹ́ lọ àwọn tó ti lẹ́fọ̀n tó lé kan náà nìyẹn táwọn bá sọ̀rọ̀ ní sanni yéyéyéyé rally wo lọ́fẹ́ máa ṣe rally ìlú tó ti wà ní Wales o wọ́n ti wà almost independent ni wọ́n ìyàtọ̀ kan ní pé gbogbo control láti Westminster lọ ti control parliament kò jẹ́ báwọn náà ní parliament wọn lọ́hùn but they are not fully independent ará Wales nísìn ará Wales ṣọ̀rọ̀ kó máa wá kàwé ní University of Ife orí ọ̀pẹ ibo ló fẹ́ wá kà sí ìwọ ló fẹ́ wá kàwé ní Wales náà ìwọ ló ń wá yunifásitì wọn ló fẹ́ wá kàwé ló máa ná pound sterling wàá ṣẹ́ náírà owó òṣì yẹn bó ló wà owó tó ti àlákà ṣọwọ́ nìyẹn owó tó ní value níta ibo ni specimens ni wà owó náà ni owó òṣì owó tó ti tó ń jí wọ́n jí wọ́n sọ di owó yẹn ti di tissue paper kò ní value mọ́ owó yẹn náà lélẹ̀ níjọ́ kan kẹrin ní yíyẹ kan owó yẹn ó figba pẹ̀lú pounds àti sterling ní láti ìgbà ní kọ́ bá mi tọ́jú specimen ní kan sílẹ̀ báyìí ọmọ nǹkan tó sílẹ̀ sí 5 pound specimen ti wọn. àwọn máa sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀yìn á ní àmúdáǹsọ̀ nínú galloping economy yẹn. Madi peace awareness and freedom is not love you it's a work to do. Iṣẹ́ gidi ni àwọn ilé nísìnyí àwọn kan náà máa disagree pẹ̀lú wọn but they don't care ìbáwọn òyìnbó lè yìnrí tó jáde nísìn tó lọ ń ṣe ìbáwọn lélẹ̀ obìnrin wà nù wọn ẹbí ẹ rí gbogbo campaign kiri wọn lọ fi síta yẹn wọ́n fi flag síta wọ́n fi banner wọ́n dẹ̀ ń kọrin 4 hours ago lọ́sẹ̀ post eléyìí ń ṣọ̀rọ̀ last year August 9 òun lélẹ̀ wọ́n ṣe post Twitter and the topping campaign lélẹ̀ ẹ lọ register Twitter kájọ máa wà níbẹ̀ ẹ wá máa ná àwọn ọmọ ibi ìyẹn làwọn Biafra ṣe ń trend wọ́n bí wọn dá everyday Simon Ekpa bá post kan wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ repost ẹ̀ everyday tí Simon Ekpa bá sọ̀rọ̀ wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ tẹ̀lé ẹ̀ka tó wọ nǹkan mi tó sọ ṣẹ́gbọ́n kan tó lè sọ everyday when I wake up I thank Lord I am a Welsh ojoojúmọ́ táwọn náà bá jí ká máa dúpẹ́ fọmọ Yorùbá kí àmì Nàìjíríà ọ̀dẹ̀ òmùgọ̀ ìyẹn tẹ̀ máa kí ni Nàìjíríà I am a Nàìjíríà ara Welsh lélẹ́yìí òun ló wà wájú mi every day when I wake up òun dúpẹ́ fọ́lọ́run pé ọmọ Welsh lòun àwa nìkan la máa jí láàárọ̀ I am a Nigerian I love Nigeria I pray for Nigeria may God bless Nigeria may God bless Nigeria may God nítorí pé ìran àwọn pastor lórí social media tó ń pariwo pray for Nigeria ẹ má kí n mẹ́nu lọ síbẹ̀ yẹn ìjọba ìran àwọn àfà tó ń pariwo àti àwọn àtisọ̀bá àwọn bàbá aláwo náà èyí náà máa wá sórí social media kí wọ́n wá jọ wà lórí social media 3-1 ní kí wọ́n wà lórí social media ètò báwọn èlò máa tẹ̀lé because a pastor and a imam and babaláwo wọ́n sọ fún ẹ pé pray for Nigeria ìyẹn ni wọ́n náà wá gbé dání sọ. I laugh in Japanese pray for Nigeria ara Wales ń pray fún Wales kò ṣe pray fún United Kingdom because ó mọ̀ pé fraud ni there is nothing called United Kingdom their own independence was also locked into UK some few years back ara Wales ìwọ́kẹ̀rẹ́ nísìn ní Nàìjíríà tí bá sọ fún ẹ nísìn pé jáde lọ wo yunifásitì wọn nísìn tí bá sọ fún ẹ pé wọ́n máa ń ṣe offer láti wá kàwé ní Wales o Wales University wàá wá lọ change owó wàá wá fẹ́ fún wa kàwé níbẹ̀ ó mọ̀ pé business center nìyẹn òun lè lè nísìn University of South Wales ìyẹn mélòó ló fẹ́ wá sí University of South Wales ẹ máa náwó sókè nísìn àbí wàá wá lọ wá owó tó ò ní because some of you don't have the money okay let's look at the figure how much is it for international students ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ wò ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ click University of Wales I like to talk with fact ní akápá máa sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ sí website wọn ta ló fẹ́ wọlé ní September I don't do visa but they ma communicate pẹ̀lú university and direct ni o let's look it together register for clearing no àwọn tó wà ní UK nìyẹn now wọ́n ti fi síbẹ̀ it's a business center wọ́n ti fi síbẹ̀ international ẹ jẹ́ ká click lórí international ṣé gbogbo ilẹ̀ rí èyí tẹ̀ rí nígbà máa ṣàlàyé fún yín international apply now èlò tó wà Nàìjíríà ni mo lè bẹ apply àwọn kan ṣe tó máa ń ṣe nìyẹn àwọn lọ́bì kọ́kọ́ Nàìjíríà ẹlòmíì ò lọ́bì kọ́kọ́ consultant ni bó ṣe bá abẹ́ register but wọ́n ló máa lọ wọ́wọ́ wá because illiterate ti pọ̀jù ní Nàìjíríà àní àfihàn èmi I can be doing this ṣèbí yẹn ni bọ̀bọ́ yẹn ń ṣe tó lọ kó bá wa bọ̀bọ́ kan tí tó pèrè ní tìyàmíù ẹ rántí tó ní àwọn tó bá ti dé wọ́n fi ń sá kúrò kí ní kàn pẹ̀lú yẹn bí òun náà sá kúrò Nàìjíríà. If I wanted to be doing this tí bá yẹ pé tí mo fẹ́ máa ṣe lélẹ̀ wàláì ẹ máa sanwó consultation fún mi kó tó bá mi sọ̀rọ̀ pé èmi kọ́ ìwọ ló máa lọ kó gbogbo dọ́kúmẹ̀ntì wá màá kọ̀ bẹ check okay everything is okay ìtẹ́wọ̀n kan fi ń jẹun nìyẹn. Ẹ wá rí pé èèyàn kan bá ń ṣe visa kò wọlé òun ni immigration officer ni òun kọ́ ni immigration officer. Oh my God. We're on social media Clubhouse. Search for Àwùjọ Ọmọ Yorùbá on Clubhouse. Ẹ bá mi send the link yẹn sir. Ẹ bá mi send the link yẹn. Àwùjọ Ọmọ Yorùbá. Àwùjọ. Àwọn apariwo Yorùbá nation. Àwọn kan á jókòó. Ẹ fẹ́ fix Nàìjíríà. I love it. Ṣáà lélẹ̀ Àwùjọ Ọmọ Yorùbá. Ẹ wá ìwọ má tún dá mi padà sẹ́yìn. Ó yà pé wà lórí Twitter náà bì. And tó bá ti ṣe organization tó bá ti ṣe lórí Twitter waste of time. Okay, ṣáà lè fẹ́ ṣe ìṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ dé London 10 ní Ìlọrin tó ń bá ń fa wàhálà tó pọ̀ àwọn máa lé Yorùbá tó wà ń bẹ̀. Okay, ṣé Twitter ń dùn yín lélẹ̀ sá ẹ ká padà sí níta. So now enquiry apply now gbọ̀kọ̀ tó apply ó gbọ́dọ̀ ní owó lọ́wọ́ o so ẹ jẹ́ ká click apply. International outside of the EU wọ́n bracket ẹ̀ pa wọ́n mọ̀ pa àwọn ọmọ EU òun ṣọmọ Áfíríkà wọ́n ti bà ayé wa jẹ́ ẹ jẹ́ ká follow ẹ̀. Ó yá international outside the EU àwọn ṣọmọ EU ó yá how to apply. Ó yá you can apply online ìyẹn easy ìbúwọ̀ ló máa sanwó kíní kan wọ́n okay Twitter handle yín lélẹ̀. Ẹ jẹ́ follow yín gbà yẹn nígbà tẹ́yìn náà ti wà lórí ètò pẹ̀lú wa níbà ẹ kú iṣẹ́ takuntakun sà. Alright, Ìlọrin láti máa ṣe eléyìí láago 10 títí dáago 4 ní August 20 ẹ jẹ́ retweet ẹ̀. Náà ẹ yẹ ká padà sí bíbà owó ẹ̀ lèmi fẹ́ èlò la máa san gbogbo wàhálà ẹ̀ ti pọ̀ jù èlò ni fee online portal. Apply online for PhD, visa and arrival, fees and scholarship. Ẹ̀dá lọ sórí fees, international tuition fee. Ṣòro ti bẹ́ẹ̀ fi síbẹ̀. Wọ́n fi EU fee and scholarship. Wọ́n wá fi international scholarship. Ṣòwò àrẹ àwọn tó bá fún international scholarship yẹn wọ́n fẹ́ kẹ́ padà lọ́lé. In tó bá ti mú ẹ gba scholarship, o máa serve purpose of that scholarship yẹn níbi tó bá fún ẹ sí. Èèyàn mélòó ló máa fún ní scholarship? Now ẹ jẹ́ ká click lórí international tuition fee. Owó gẹlẹbẹ ta lórí ẹjẹ ń bá yín pẹ́ dáadáa lójú kẹlẹ̀ bá rí. Ó ti zẹ̀ zazu ọmọ ọlọ́mọ ta lórí fee yẹn bẹ̀ ṣé ń sọ fún yín ẹ gbọ́. Tó bá ti lówó yẹn wàá wá London wàláì tó bá ti lè ní owó yẹn wàá wá sí London wàá máa fún visa. Èmi ò mọ̀ nípa visa mo kàn ń sọ ni o. International fee fún September 2023 títí dé àtàwọn tó máa wọlé ní February intake degree ọmọ tó máa ń pè ní degree pọ̀ níjẹ́ kó wá ṣe foundation tó bá dẹ̀ máa ṣe foundation o máa náwó pàyẹ́ lélẹ́yìí o ní ọdún kan ọmọ ẹ̀ tó jẹ́ £14,100. That is the price. £14,000. Èèyàn mélòó ló ní £14,000 lẹ́yìn tẹ́ ń wò mí nílé? Èèyàn mélòó ló ní £14,000 tó lè fi wá kàwé ní UK? Degree and foundation courses in business or creative industry per year, £14,100. Tó bá fẹ́ ṣe computing engineering science ìyẹn máa cost ẹ ní 14,400. degree placement 2,700 mo doubt ọba fún ẹni visa lórí yẹn mo doubt ẹ postgraduate mo fẹ́ wá ṣe postgraduate lásán nílùú yìí £15,950 tó bá fẹ́ wá ṣe MBA masters MA business £14,950 tó bá fẹ́ wá ṣe masters ní computing engineering £15,100 ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ sáré ṣe calculation èló ni £14,000 ní lọ sórí calculator mi as at owó lẹ́ni ó dà ń pé is lórí calculator mi wà calculator lórí so 14,100 times mo fẹ́ lọ wo èló ni woman ń ṣe owó lẹ́ni yẹn lọ sọ́dọ̀ woman tó máa ń sẹ̀lẹ̀ sí mi owó ti di lẹ́ni ó ti di 1,155 naira so ẹ jẹ́ ká multiply ẹ̀ so ká mú lọ sí 1,155 so ó gbọ́dọ̀ ní 16 million orípòkù ó fẹ́ ṣòkú nìyẹn ó gbọ́dọ̀ ní 16 million naira ó rà pé ẹ tí mo rí nígbà tí ń pariwo àwa tá ń pariwo koikimedia àṣírí jàre I have stopped listening to the Nigerian news ọkọya òun lélẹ̀ ó lé ní 16.2 million 16,285,500 naira. The question is, how many of us can afford it? Báwo mo ti tún lè ṣe lè explain kìíní tó lè yí àwọn tó wà ní. Nígbà àwọn bàbá wó lọ́wọ́ tó wẹ́ pé scholarship làwọn èèyàn fi ń wá. I don't know. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n máa lọ kórí tó máa fọ́ mi tí mo ṣe ti tó ti ṣe 3 hours 16 minutes. Pẹ̀lú inflation tó wà ń ta ẹ̀. Tí wọ́n bá rí 16 million nísìnyí ṣé wàá wá fi kàwé ní bíbá? Ò ní kọ́kọ́ wá bó ṣe fẹ́ fi ṣe business kékeré kan náà ní Nàìjíríà. Even tó bá tẹ̀ pé kò ní work. Tèmi bá sọ fún ẹ nísìnyí pé mo ní £14,000 16 million. Kì í sọ pé kò wá kàwé ṣe ìwé ló máa wá kà. Kí ló dé dákẹ́ ẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ náà gbogbo ilẹ̀ dákẹ́ ebe wà lórí ètò ọ̀tẹ́ ń gbọ́ mi ebe ń gbọ́ mi tí mò ń sọ ṣé tí mò ń sọ make sense ẹ comment náà tèmi bá ní mo ní £14,000 nísìn mo wá sọ fún yín pé lórí ètò a ní £14,000 àwọn àwọn ìta máa fún kó wá fi kàwé ìwé ẹ̀ ló máa wá kà lóòótọ́ ní UK ìwé tẹ́ pé ọdún kan nìyẹn o ọdún mẹ́ta dẹ̀ ló máa ṣe bọ̀ mo kàn sọ fún ẹ pé mo lè guarantee ọdún kan òfin ìpè tó bá wọlé wàá máa ṣiṣẹ́ láti rí £14,000 wàá ṣe wàhálà ọmọ etí £14,000 part time salary iṣẹ́ àwọn èèyàn kan nìyẹn ní London ní UK rather £14,000 yẹn is a part time job so that means pé nínú pé wá kàwé wàá tún wá lọ máa ṣiṣẹ́ kò dẹ̀ easy wàá máa sùn ní kíláàsì wàá máa sùn bẹ́ni tó ń datọ́ ni tó bá dé lecture room ò ní gbọ́n kankan mọ́ especially in night dẹ̀ ló lè ṣe because what school expect ẹ pé gbọ́dọ̀ wá sí school láàárọ̀ gbọ́ mi dáadáa at least wàá máa ṣe 3 days lecture ìtẹ́mi ti ṣe tí mo mọ̀ ni mò ń sọ fún yìí night ló máa lọ ṣe ó máa lọ ṣiṣẹ́ night tó bá dé kíláàsì báyìí tó bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ báyìí ẹ̀yin ló máa jókòó sí lecturer ò dẹ̀ ń disturb èèyàn nílùú yìí ò bá sùn parẹ́ ìbíwọ̀ ló sanwó. £14,000 is 16,285,500 naira. Fún ọdún kan nìyẹn o. Wá multiply it by 3. Ẹ jẹ́ ká wá mú lọ sí by 3. Times 3. Kò tí sówó ilé ń bẹ o. Kò tí sówó oúnjẹ ń bẹ. Gbogbo ẹ jẹ́ 40. Owó táwọn politician dẹ̀ fi ń jó gẹ̀lẹ̀dẹ̀ lílé. Ṣe rí pé rísì dáná sọ pé gbogbo agbọ́dọ̀ jáde síta agbọ́dọ̀ wà lójú títì ẹni rọ àga ẹgbẹ́ kéèké ẹ ò fẹ́ dẹ́gunlẹ̀ wà lọ́nà ó máa dẹ́gunlẹ̀. How are you? Kéèké wà lọ́nà tìbí mi náà sá lọ ni èmi ti sá lọ kí Nàìjíríà tó dàrú rẹpẹtẹ ní 1998 sí so foresight tí mo sì tèmi ní lèmi fi sá jáde. Tó bá yẹ pé mo sì tèmi náà ní foresight èmi náà wà ní Nàìjíríà bó ṣe ń bá mi mìíràn kọ má ṣe o bó ṣe ń bá wa sọ̀rọ̀ bí bèbí ṣá èmi náà máa sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ so I can't blame you but parents wa kankan rí foresight ìlú yìí tó bá kọ́ àwọn ọmọ síbí báyìí láàrin kí ogun á máa tọrọ jẹ gbẹ̀yìn ni káwá ní odindi àlájà wa ń tọrọ magi tọrọ èlùbọ́ tọrọ kinní kan mọ̀ sí mi ṣiṣẹ́ nígbà tẹ́mi dé ìlú mo rí pé ìyá ẹ̀ ti paṣẹ́ dànù àṣẹ gbogbo Western Union tí àyẹ̀ ń sẹ́ndì wá dé iṣẹ́ ló ń fà I pity my mom mo tara bọ́ṣẹ́ lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ ni mo tara bọ́ṣẹ́ lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ nígbà tí mo dé ìlú pé ìyá ẹ̀ ti paṣẹ́ dànù àṣẹ gbogbo Western Union tẹ́mi fi ń ṣe big boy ní phase 2 Timberland mọ̀ sí mi máa sẹ́ndì ẹ̀ ó máa ra aṣọ fún wa máa ra gbogbo ẹ̀ tí mo dé London báyìí mo paṣẹ́ yẹn dànù wọ́n ń bẹ̀ mí mo nírọ́ ìyá yóò gbọ́dọ̀ tún ṣiṣẹ́ tó yẹn mọ́ pé wàhálà tẹ̀ ṣe lélẹ̀ àṣàwà ṣé Western Union náà wá Nàìjíríà mọ́ nísìn ìgbà tó bá yẹn 1998 ni mo sì tèmi ti ń sẹ́ndì 1995 mo sì tán ní 95 98 mo kúrò lé but for that 3 years lọ bèrè mi ní phase 2 gbogbo kátálọ́ọ̀gì yunifásitì ló wà lọ́wọ́ mi gbogbo kátálọ́ọ̀gì lọ sí phase 2 ládé níjàdí lè pé bọ̀bọ̀ kan parọ́ lórí social media Ọláyọmí Kóìkì ló ń jẹ́ kó gbogbo àyẹn tí o mọ̀ pé kò tí dàrú dé kò tẹ̀ tí bàjẹ́ tó yìí ànígbà yẹn kẹ̀rí èmi gbádùn mo ní mo fẹ́ lọ yunifásitì mo ní mo fẹ́ lọ Unilag tó bá tẹ̀ pa máa náwó lórí ẹ̀ ní kí n fi wọlé wọn sí mi ní Unilag kọ́ Unibeni ni lọ́jọ́ pọ̀ rẹ̀ kó lọ Unilag kọ́ Unilag ni ó dẹ̀ àná okay no problem ẹ̀ lẹ́ ń send owó oṣù sí wa tó bá send owó sí mi mò ń jẹun nínú ilé wọ́n sọ fún alájà pé mò ń jẹun alájà ni yẹ́ ti send owó sí ẹ̀ tí bá náwó tọ́ ni ṣẹ̀ máa rántí pé ó yẹ kí n jẹun nínú ilé máa ń dákàjẹ burúkú ní phase 2 àwọn oúnjẹ kan wà tẹ́ pé àwọn toast bread kan wà lọ́nà tọ́mọ̀ sómi dúdùn ọlọ́run mọ̀ tó máa fi ń pa mo ṣáà gbogbo ẹ̀ máa ń dùn yìnbìyìnbì ni mo ìgbà yẹn ní ọ̀rọ̀ bọ̀ ó rántí ọ̀rọ̀ bọ̀ ọlọ́run tí bá pa àwọn gbogbo yín nísìn 95 ni mò ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí nígbà tí mo ṣe dán lábẹ́òkúta grammar school inú phase 2 mo á jókòó sí lọ béèrè lọ́wọ́ àwọn tó wà ní phase 2 pé Kóìkì parọ́ mọ́ rẹ̀ Western Union ló ń sẹ́ndì sí wa a máa lọ ń gbà nígbà yẹn ni nísìn tí bá fẹ́ sẹ́ndì Western Union ṣe kò dé Nàìjíríà mọ́ nísìn torí pé ó ti fi lànà gbà ó ẹ ti fi ṣe fraud Timberland bẹ́ẹ̀ ni Brown àṣeyàn yẹn ṣe wàhálà ni àṣegbò kẹ́ńtà tá a bá make a request mọ́ sí wa just to keep us happy a ṣe wàhálà a lọ ṣe extra job a ṣe overtime tí bá sọ pé mo ní nǹkan mo sì mi sọ pé no àṣe overtime ìyá yẹn ṣe nígbà tí mo dé London mo wá rí pé ìyá yẹn ti paṣẹ dànù ìránṣẹ́ wa ń bú èmi nísìn ò ń bú èmi lórí social media ó yẹ kó béèrè lọ́wọ́ mo sì tẹ́ pé kí ló dé tán kó ọ náà kúrò Nàìjíríà nígbà tí visa dẹ̀ ṣe yí sí ìgbà yẹn díẹ̀ máa sọ fún ẹ̀yin tẹ̀ lọ́kì èmi lọ ṣe interview l'Abuja ni òyìnbó bá mi sọ̀rọ̀ ìmájì kò lọ bọ́yìnbó sọ̀rọ̀ nẹ́mbàsì ẹ̀yin ọ̀bọ̀n òyìnbó sọ̀rọ̀ nísìnyí ṣe gbọ́pọ̀ máa to paperwork fún yín ni ẹ lọ san 48 million ṣé wọ́n ní 48 million tó lè wá fi ṣe university ní London ní Wales ará Wales dẹ̀ sọ pé àwọn fẹ́ lọ ṣó ń rí point tí mo fẹ́ mú jáde bẹ́ẹ̀ ará Wales sọ pé òun fẹ́ kúrò nínú UK nínú tó ń pè ní Great Britain àwọn fẹ́ sí dára wọn mọ́ ìwọ́dẹ̀ wà Nàìjíríà ó dẹ̀ náà fẹ́ kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà ayé wa ò dẹ̀ lọ síwájú kò lọ sẹ́yìn torí pé gbogbo àná ló wà affected èmi náà wà affected. Timbolo ọdẹ máa ń ṣe kinní kan ní every December big boy gidi ọ máa ń ṣe Jimmy Jack ló máa ń play ó kẹ́ ẹ̀ pé ti máa ń jáde ní tẹ́ bá ti mọ tí yẹ máa fọ́gbọ̀ ẹ̀ máa gúnra yín ó máa ń sún mi lọ́rọ̀ Lagos Island nìyẹn wàhálà ti pọ̀ jù ẹ wọ Timberland wọ bàbá aṣọ jeans tó ń dún tẹ́ntẹ́ tí bá sọ̀kalẹ̀ báyìí nínú phase 2 bá wọn wò London boy ọmọ ìyá lọ́la bọ́lá fọ́nrún kẹ́ girama mi a ní ìyẹ́ ti send owó ní jẹun nínú ilé èrò làbọ̀rọ̀ jẹun nínú ilé mo like ẹ̀wà block 35 tàbá débẹ̀ bá wọn ní kò sẹ́wà bá ní kí ló tẹ̀ sẹ́wà àwọn ọmọ wọn náà àwọn ọmọ kọ̀ọ̀kan náà ti travel ní sinwó alábẹ́ ìyá ẹ̀ fún oúnjẹ yẹn ó fi train àwọn ọmọ ẹ̀ adé Nàìjíríà wọn ṣèdùn mọ́ wọn á jókòó síbẹ̀ máa sọ ẹ pè sórí ètò ẹ pè kó wá challenge mi pé Nàìjíríà máa dà níbo ló fi gbà dà èmi sọ̀rọ̀ 1995 ìwọ sọ̀rọ̀ 2000 and my mom left in 1991 kó lè wo timeline yẹn 1991 ni mo sì mi ti yá dànù pé ìlú òṣèlú a lọ kó bá wọn pẹ̀lú àwọn ọmọ ẹ̀ ó wá ń bú èmi lórí social media ṣé mi mo ránṣẹ́ ni parent ló máa lọ bá sọ̀rọ̀ náà mo máa ń mú àbókìtì yẹn náà pẹ̀lú bread àtẹ àní tẹ́tẹ́ bá ti sẹ́ndì owó máa ń dákà jẹ́ káàkiri ní ìgbà òmò ẹ̀ tó wó jẹ́ ńgbà yẹn ni tí mo sì bá sẹ́ndì £200 ìyá ayọ̀dẹ̀ ń sẹ́ndì owó kékeré àti ní kí n fún alájà ní tiẹ̀ tí bá ti fún alájà ní tọ̀dọ̀ tiẹ̀ báyìí mo di big boy láàrin àgbo mo wọlé kíákíá máa ń jókòó síta tí màmá jẹ́ sèré ẹ bá mute background ẹ ti wọlé ẹ mute background ẹ bá mute background.
mo ti gbọ́.
ẹ mute ẹ pátápátá bí ẹ bá mute ẹ má wọlé ẹ ní láti pè padà ẹ kàn mute ẹ mà ẹ farabalẹ̀ wá rìmọ́tì yìí kẹ mute ẹ mọ́lẹ̀ pátápátá orí fóònù kẹ ti bá mi sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ ní láti gbọ́ tì mí ẹ mute ẹ wálé ẹ à ń gbọ́ yín sí. ń gbọ́ yín mà.
ṣé ẹ rí nǹkan tó ń gbọ́ tí Tinubu fẹ́ ṣe.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mà.
tó fẹ́ lọ tó ń béèrè pé ká lọ
Niger. bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mà.
fún pé kó o lè lọ sí Niger.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mà.
ṣé àbá pé gbogbo kínní Yorùbá ló máa jalè lórí.
èdè mi sọ lánàá mo ní sọ jẹta.
àwọn náà ti disapprove pé àwọn ò fẹ́ lọ sógun pẹ̀lú ẹni nìjẹ́ bí ara wọn ni. nísìnyí Tinubu tún wá ń wá àpúfà láti ọ̀dọ̀ Senate bóun fẹ́ lọ sógun fún nìjẹ́. nísìnyí Yorùbá ló wà láàrin gbogbo nǹkan tá à ń sọ yìí.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni mà.
àwọn Biafra ti support pé àwọn á lọ fight fún nìjẹ́.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
àwọn north wọ́n sọ pé àwọn ò approve ẹ̀. wọ́n dẹ̀ máa fight àti wọ́n fẹ́ fight tí ò jẹ́ Yorùbá. My dear brother and sister, we are in trouble. Nǹkan tí Tinubu fẹ́ kó sílẹ̀ ọwọ́ ẹ̀ ò ní gbà. A lè máa sọ̀rọ̀ òṣù afẹ́gbàrí Yorùbá nation. Tá a bá tètè gbà á sí gbogbo ẹ̀ máa dàrú. Torí pé ọ̀dọ̀ wa náà máa fi ṣe battle ground. Mo wò ó títí ẹ̀rù gbà mí. What can I do? What can I say? Torí gbogbo nǹkan yìí ó ń bà mí lẹ́rù ni. Nígbà tí àwọn north tán àgùnfẹ̀ tán sọ pé Niger ọmọ ìyá wọn ni.
kábíyèsí ẹ̀.
Àwọn kí lórúkọ ẹ̀ Biafra wọ́n ní wọ́n máa support Niger.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Ta ló kù wá kù? Yorùbá. Kì í ṣe pé Yorùbá ti wà ní trouble ni. Trouble gidi la wà. Arógbó gidi ni. Mo dẹ̀ gbàdúrà ní ọ̀dọ̀ Ọlọ́run pé kí gbogbo ẹ̀ kó má bọ̀ sí. Ká má lọ sógun pẹ̀lú Niger. Yorùbá náà máa wá sí destroy. Nǹkan tí mo kàn fẹ́ advice Yorùbá sí àwa Yorùbá. Tá bá fẹ́ lọ sọ pé wọ́n àkóso Niger pé ká lọ jagun bẹ̀. Ká tètè ti bẹ́ẹ̀ Yorùbá náà ṣàpé àti láàrin wọn. Iṣẹ́ tí mo ti ń ṣe láti bí by more than 32 years. Nàìjíríà ló wà. Kò sí anywhere mo kàn invest pẹ̀lú wọ́kọ̀ mi pẹ̀lú owó ọmọ mi mo fi invest ní Nàìjíríà. Ẹnìkan tó jọ pé ó fi èrú gba ìbùkún á wá da gbogbo ẹ̀rú lẹ́jọ́ kan. I don't think I can say that. So ẹ jẹ́ ká bẹ Tinubu kó jọ kó má lọ jà ní Niger nǹkan tí mo lè sọ nìyẹn.
àmọ́ pé àwọn bàbá wa tó jẹ́ àwọn bàbá wa nílé mo ti bẹ̀ gbogbo wọn mo dẹ̀ ti fi ọ̀rọ̀ ìtùnú mo fi bẹ̀ wọ́n mo ò pariwo mọ́ wọn kó ṣáà bá sọ̀rọ̀ ọ̀nà tó bá ṣàfi gbà kó mọ ohun tó fi gbà torí pé already àwọn tó jẹ́ Nigerians tó wà níta tó jẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá they are in problem big problem tó ń ṣe problem gidi wàhálà ẹ̀ so bó ṣe jẹ́ nìyẹn Ọlọ́run wà pẹ̀lú wa ẹ ṣé gan ni grandma.
àwọn Yorùbá tó wà ní ìpínlẹ̀ wà ní Nàìjíríà bí a big problem dáná tó mo lè sọ pé mi ò ní wálé mo ní passport mo ní everything àwọn ọmọ mi wà nígbà yìí àbúrò mi wà nígbà yìí ìgbọ́n mi wà nígbà yìí mo fi àwọn tó wà ní Nàìjà àwọn Yorùbá battle ground náà máa fi Yorùbá ṣe. ẹjọ
Ọlọ́run jẹ́ kó fi ṣe o kábíyèsí.
ẹrù tó ń tà mí ní ìyẹn kì í ṣe ẹrù míì.
ṣẹ́gun ni grandma.
mo dẹ̀ gbàgbé àpè tí àwọn inmates kan máa kúfù o. kí lorúkọ ẹ̀ nǹkan tó fẹ́ ṣe.
No problem.
ọ̀rọ̀ mi nìyẹn.
Ẹ ṣé gan ni, a máa rí yín bá, a máa rí gbogbo yín bá, ẹ ṣé gan ni, ìyẹn lálùbáríkà. Thank you so much, ma. Tó, mo dúpẹ́, ẹ rí pé mọ́mí wa, ẹ ṣé gan ni, ẹ rí pé understanding mọ́mí wa, grandma, ṣe fẹ́ join wa ni Yawa Bola 852, kì máa kọ̀ lọ gbé yín wọlé, ẹ tún bá mi fi comment sí, because ẹ send the mail send request kó máa mọ̀ pé òun send request. Ẹni tó bá fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ lórí Twitter space, I can bring you in as well, but a máa parí ètò yẹn torí pé ilẹ̀ ti ṣú rẹpẹtẹ náà díẹ̀ báyìí. Wẹ́dà ti ohun yẹn ti wọ̀, ohun tó ń wọ̀ lọ́dọ̀ yín náà ló wọ̀ lọ́dọ̀ wa. 9:26 tó lù ní UK náà ló lù lọ́dọ̀ yín. In tí mò ń wò ní bíbá náà lẹ́yìn náà máa wọ̀ náà. Ìyàtọ̀ kan ni pé ẹ wo tí mo gbé síbẹ̀ yẹn. Every day I wake up, I thank the Lord I am a Welsh. Mo kí our grace. We are not, we only ká ṣàlàyé Twitter fún yín, a máa tún ṣe program lé lórí, a máa encourage yín náà ni, ẹ join Twitter. I know you guys don't have any power, you don't have any power, but every little time about post Yoruba nation, I forget about Google politics in Nigeria. Politics ẹgbà kàmàlà nìyẹn tó lè work, it's a waste of time. Àwọn Wales lélẹ̀ ẹgbọ́n kan tó kọ sí bíbá, ó ní an independent Wales, ẹ farabalẹ̀ ẹgbọ́n tó sọ sí bíbá. An independent Wales will be able to print some money and borrow money just like all independent countries do. Ṣé mo kọ́ America ń print owó ni? During the COVID, America was printing money kò sí ìtọ́kọ̀ America. Oh my God. Not to borrow as much as the Westminster, which is 3 trillion in debt and pay just 1.7% back with high inflation. Join 60,000 at yes, we want independence of Wales. The same Wales here, we feel like we need to pay about 14,000 pounds nowhere. Bishop Adesina ni, Mama, move your money to Yoruba. You can't stop Tinubu from what he wants to do. This is 1, 2, 3. Thanks so much. We are talking about 2 countries here in UK. Company Wales and Scotland. These 2 are ready to leave the Great Britain, the Union. But you don't want us to leave Nigeria. What is in need for you in Nigeria? You cannot answer. You cannot answer me today. What is actually in need for you? You cannot answer me that question. You can't. All you can always say is that you are not happy. Nigeria is still not good. God. No. Leave God alone now. I might drag God into this conversation. It is a failed country. It is not going to come back up. Simple as that. A, B, C. It does not matter how you want to put it. It does not matter how you want to write it. It does not matter what they tell you in your gathering, in your society, in your clubs, it doesn't matter. It is a complete failed entity. So, lágbára Ọlọ́run, we encourage you. You don't have anything you can do. We don't ask you to go and carry weapons. But go on Twitter, register Twitter. When you see any Yoruba people say Yoruba nation, just retweet it. You are also playing a role. But Kawajoko, hey, àwọn tó ń ṣe yìí, Ọlọ́run fún wọn ṣe. Okay, Ọlọ́run fún wọn ṣe. But what about you? Ara Wales, ẹ wo gbogbo top print out. Gbogbo kìíní táwọn náà fi sígbàyà yìí. Ẹ̀yin ò lè rí ẹ má bínú. Wọ́n ní yes, ọtún wa kọ́ lédè Wales. It costs money to produce all these things. Àwọn kan ló máa dánwó fún wọn. Àwọn kan ló máa fún wọn lówó. Stop living in denial. Nigeria is at the verge of breakup. You can see the handwriting on the wall. So before we go, in just a minute left, I would like to appreciate every one of you. Wales is a nation. I think I'll be talking more about this now because some people think that Yoruba nation. Wales is a nation. England and United Kingdom government does not speak for the Wales. The voice of the Wales is the voice of the Wales is the people of Wales. Let's take back control. Let's open a direct dialogue with the rest of the world. Okay, mo ti screenshot tele láàárọ̀ because àtàárọ̀ lọ ti post tele ní 9:41 a.m. Mo ti screenshot it and tó bá follow me ẹ ti mo ti post it sí gbogbo timeline apart from TikTok. It is time to shout louder. Make your voice heard. Is that not what I'm doing every day in 3 years? That some of you are here bringing Amaso A, Amaso B, Amaso D, Amaso E, Amaso to relevant. The Wales people are saying, raise your voice now. England, United Kingdom, government, ìjọba UK does not speak Wales. Wọ́n ní wọ́n sọ èdè Wales. Ṣé Hausa ń sọ èdè Yorùbá ni? Ṣé federal government gbogbo tí Tinubu fi operate ní sí English ni? Kò lo Yorùbá now. Tinubu ò tí address wa ní Yorùbá now because it's not a Yoruba country. It's a Nigeria that is using English. Gbogbo address tí Tinubu fi address wa ní sí English ló ń lò, kò lo èdè Yorùbá. 5% prayer, 95% wisdom work. This is how far I can go. I got to go now because it's a show and I have to go and, do some other thing myself. Whether they like it or not, it is at the verge of breakup. It's just a matter of time. It will eventually collapse, and whether we like it or not. Ẹ̀yin ọlọ́pọlọ, ẹ̀yin tí ẹ jẹ́ intellectual, gbogbo adela jẹ́ intellectual. Ẹni tó ń ta obì, you are intellectual. Nǹkan tó bá ti lè mú ẹ tó lè sọ pé obì mẹ́ta mẹ́rin 30 naira, obì mẹ́ta mẹ́rin 1,000 naira. You are also an intellectual. O ní láti lọ sí university fún yẹn. Èyí tó bá ti lè mú ẹ tó lè gbọ́ pé 1+1 ní èdè Yorùbá gan 2 ni. Then what are you waiting for? And forget about Nigeria. It's too late. It's never going to work. Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí, mo kí bàbá wa Professor Adébánjí Akíntóyè, mo kí bàbá wa Chief Ayélóge. Bí ti ṣe sọ, wọ́n ní September lágbára Ọlọ́run oṣù tó ń bọ̀. Wọ́n máa jáde rẹpẹtẹ ní United Nations General Assembly for the rally coming up. More information will be coming on that. I got to go now. Thank you so much. Orun ayọ̀ la máa sùn. Ó dàárọ̀. Mo kí àtúbí mi lọ́mọ. Every one of us is an intellectual. Máa ẹ̀ka àwọn òyìnbó ńláńlá kọ́ fi disturb ní kọ́ break ẹ̀kọ́ kọ́ ṣe náyàn gbípọ̀ lédè Yorùbá. Mo kí àwọn ìyàwó mi Adékúnlé Junior, mo kí gbogbo yín, mo kí gbogbo ẹgbẹ́ kọ̀ọ̀kan pátápátá láì yọ anybody sílẹ̀. Odò àgbèwà kò ní gbé ọ̀dàlẹ̀. KOIKIMEDIA bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Orun ayọ̀ la máa sùn. Ó dàárọ̀. Play. Sorry. Èyí látọ̀dọ̀ mi ni. Home play. Speaker mi ṣì wà switched off ni. Ìyẹn ni kò ṣe dúró síta. Ó yá, ẹ jẹ́ ká play again. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, Madi Peace, prayer without work is dead. Good night, everybody. All happy Biafra. Love you all so much. Thank you so much. Around the méjì mẹ́ta nù, bí wọ́n gbọ́ Yorùbá ni. At least about 4 or 5 Biafra stood with us throughout the program. Good night, and this is our anthem. Tinubu fi bàbá sílẹ̀, lift embargo. lift embargo into the sheni, not to waste too much time. With our